can watch the highlights later. That's 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. But the live commentary is here with us on Sports Sound with Pat Bonner, Neil McCann and Liam McLeod.
Good afternoon. In the infancy of the season, the eye of the storm, in the heat of the battle, a high noon shootout at Ibrox. A day for marker laying, potentially for one of these teams. The Celtic players, the most hostile environment they'll face domestically this season. Not a single Celtic supporter has paid money to get into this ground today, as the green and white hoop shirts go into their huddle off to the left on a sunny day here south of the River Clyde in Glasgow. Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops wait for the Celtic players to break away. They will do so once they get the final word from the skipper Callum McGregor. That's what happens now, and they then assume their positions. Rangers will shoot in this first half from kick-off, right to left towards the Broom Loan, Celtic towards Copeland Road, as we watch from the main stand here. The first derby between these two this season. There were 6 last term. Rangers only won 1 of them, but Celtic couldn't win here. A draw and a defeat as Rangers kick off. Rabbi Matondo with the first touch of the ball. Back to Suter. Long pinged ball forward looking for Cyril Dessert, and it's knocked clear by Celtic and eventually out off a Rangers player for a throw-in over on that far side. Neil McCann, you would expect this, as usual, to be a fairly frenetic opening.
Yeah, absolutely, and I fully expect Rangers to go for it. I'm just looking at early stages of the kick-off and the proceedings here, at what kind of shape Rangers would do, particularly Cantwell. Cantwell looks like he's playing right up a 3. Roof's just dropped off a Dessers.
Dessers is through. I think he'll be offside here, but he's driving forward anyways in the box. Matondo's waiting. Matondo's there! Into the net it goes! But up goes the flag! Rabbi Matondo's celebrations are stymied immediately, and it will not count. But that is inside the opening minute of the game. Rangers have the ball in the net, but Dessers did look offside.
Yeah, but it's a great intent from Rangers, isn't it? It's a good flick on. Dessers going in behind. Roof will do that today. He'll come short. He's very good in there. The interesting thing there for me, Liam, was that Dessers never ever looked like he was going to go in and go himself. He was always looking for the support. Matondo gave him a good start by Rangers, but clearly the right decision as well.
Yeah, and the problem, of course, Celtic didn't win the first ball, the header, and that's a little bit worrying early on.
I'm telling you, Dessers looks a different boy already. I know it's very early, but I touched on it before the game about what Roof might do to this kid just by taking responsibility off him as a goal threat. But he's so intelligent and clever, he might allow Dessers just to occupy his mind a little bit better and get into the game and show what he can do.
A huge afternoon for the... Sorry, Neil, I thought you were finished. I can barely hear you. Lagerbilka and Liam Scales, Packy. This is a massive afternoon for them. Debuts in this fixture and inside this arena as well.
Yeah, you listen, you grow up very quickly inside an arena like this, and you have to, but it was interesting, those first couple of balls, Liam Scales didn't deal with him in the air because they'll play on him because he's young. And even though he's been around the club for a while, he hasn't got huge experience of playing in the Celtic team. He will take chances. We've seen now with Celtic playing out of the back, but his defensive qualities we're almost looking for. Can they combine as a unit? Can they defend well when they're put under pressure?
Right start by Rangers. This has come back to Suter, who scored against Celtic in that 3-0 Rangers win after the league was won last term. It's a long clearance, and Jack Butland with the right foot, picked up by Scales over on that far side. Liam Scales was a winner against Rangers last season for Aberdeen at Pittodrie. He scored from a long way out with the long deep cross ball which evaded Alan McGregor, as Lagerbilka, the Swede, picks up on the near side, and Celtic seen the ball for the first time in the opening 3 minutes. Threaded forward by Johnston, looking for O'Reilly, covering across his Suter, gets it down to the corner flag and sweeps clear. Johnston battling to try and win it back. Let's see Ryan Jack, who emerges with it as he turns away from his Scotland colleague Turnbull. Back to Suter, and then into his own box for Nicholas Raskan, who clears with the right foot across the halfway line.
Really good.
Liam Scales will let it come through.
Really good from John Suter there, just covering. He's been excellent at that, covering the fullbacks, going in the channels. That was a ball for Matt O'Reilly's run, which we're so used to seeing Celtic do under Ange Postecoglou, going beyond the striker. They'll be asked to go and do that again. Rangers have just switched to a 4-3-3 out of possession, Liam.
Yeah, here's Maida charging down the left-hand side. He too was a scorer in this fixture last season here at Ibrox. Ibrox in the 2-2 draw. He goes down. There's no corner either for Maida as it goes over the byline and behind for a Rangers goal kick.
Celtic have started off, obviously they're taking that little bit of risk at the back play now, but they've done it quite well so far. They haven't allowed Rangers to press them maybe the way that I expected, even higher, and they've been able to build the game up, and this time getting the ball away quickly to Maeda down that left hand side is going to be crucial. Just seen his movement just before he got the ball going away, coming.
Cantwell has knocked it forward to Dessers, who's onside this time, but Hart reads it, comes out of his box and lumps it clear with the left foot over on that far side, where Tavernier's headed it into the midfield. Picked up though by O'Reilly. Jack couldn't gather. It's with Taylor, and he shifts it to Lagerbilke midway inside Celtic territory, and he side foots it into the centre circle for McGregor. Back to Lagerbilke and out to Johnston on this near side. He finds a bad on the touchline in the Rangers half. Looking to reverse it to O'Reilly, just holding off Jack, and back to his own half for Johnston. Celtic just trying to knock the ball about here. Lagerbilke has gone long though. It's an ambitious one for Maida, and it's a comfortable one for Tavernier to deal with as he nods it down for Goldson. His clearance goes straight to Scales though. Scales and Taylor exchange passes. Scales finds McGregor now. It's Turnbull, rolls it to the left for Taylor. Looking up at the Rangers box, finds Maida, touches it back the way. It was behind his intended target, but O'Reilly keeps it alive for the champions. Here is McGregor to Taylor, to Scales. Scales forward with the left foot for McGregor, left footed to O'Reilly. This is good from Celtic, good build-up play, wide on the right of the Rangers box. It's Abada testing his man, getting the cross in. Kyogo attacked the foot, but it was wide, and that'll be a goal kick. John Souttar had stooped quite low there, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Souttar's uninjured, and it's Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah,
5.5.
A good start, confident start from Celtic from the passing perspective. Maybe I expected, getting control of the game, keeping the passing up, playing off their first, second touch, progressing well up the pitch. And it was interesting when they got into that sort of wide area, the run from Kyogo in the box, getting across the front post, which again, you know, we talked about it before the game. Maybe that's the little change they've made, play him a little bit higher and allowing that space. And the other thing is McGregor seems to be controlling the game from the middle of the pitch. What Matt O'Reilly pushed a little bit forward, so it's a little bit back to maybe that shape on that Ange had, with the two midfielders higher up the pitch, leaving McGregor a little bit more space to get on the ball.
Roof fouled by Scales over on the far side, almost on the halfway line, over on the touchline, and it will be a Rangers free kick over there, and it's with Raskan, who touches it back to Tavernier and back to Connor Goldson, who scored that horrible own goal the other night in Eindhoven. As Jack decides to go back to his keeper, you've got to be careful with that, but Kyogo looking to get onto it, but it does make it back to Butland, who launches it clear, helped on its way by Dessers. Now it's Roof to Cantwell, hoists it forward towards Dessers, holding off Scales inside the Celtic box. Scales is in a bit of bother here. Dessers smashes it across, bounces off McGregor. The Rangers fans claim handball, looked like it came off his knee actually.
McGregor comes forward, captain, though,
really good. This pass forward that Kyogo was offside, goes all the way through to Roof though, and Hart holds on.
I mean, it was so fortunate. McGregor was brilliant, so composed, worked his way out the box, gains 30 yards, plays a pass in, but when it ricocheted back towards the Celtic backline, Roof was actually onside. If he takes a really nice soft touch there, he just can slip it past Joe Hart, because he was trying to come out and read the long ball. But I mean, already Dessers has won a couple of flick-ons, Roof has as well. The two centre-backs have struggled to win the first contact part, and that's caused some problems. But you can clearly see that what they're doing, they're 4-3-3 at times, Rangers, but then Roos try to get in front of Dessers to win flick-ons, and Dessers is the boy that's going beyond. That's 2 or 3 times now they've stretched Celtic's defence.
0-0 in the 8th minute as Dujon Sterling tries to win the throw-in. It's gone Rangers' way. Brendan Rodgers was appealing. This is right in front of the watching Celtic manager. Sterling throws it short to Jack, back to Sterling, tripped by Abada. Rangers free kick down on this near side. He really does have an exceptional record in this fixture, Brendan Rodgers, including a 5-1 win here, of course. Johnston keeps it in place. It came down the left-hand side. Matondo couldn't get onto it as it's cleared by Celtic, and Tavernier in the centre circle knocks it to the left of the circle for Souttar, and to his left for Jack, back to Souttar, first time to Raskan. Nixon ahead of Maida. Yeah, and Goldson out to the Rangers captain Tavernier. Tavernier down the right hand side, couldn't find Roof. Scales read it well, and out it goes for a throw into Rangers over on the far side.
I tell you, it's been 8 minutes gone, and you don't understand it until you're on that pitch, Liam, but this will be breathless for a lot of the players. They wouldn't have got their second win yet because the tempo of the game has been so high, back to front. You're asking people to get possession of the ball to make angles and work really hard. There'll be a few players out there that will be struggling to get to grips with the pace of it.
Roll back to Butland, and he plays it short to Suter. It's outside his own penalty area. He's back to his keeper. Butland then will launch it forward with the right foot out to that far side. Again, Scales wins the header against Roof, goes straight to Cantwell. Over on that right-hand side for Rangers. Slips it infield to Raskan. Sterling's in loads of space over here. Plays it back to Jack though. Jack does move it to Sterling on this left-hand side to Matondo. Back to John Sterling. He steps away from Johnston to the edge of the box towards read by Lager Bilka, who gets it half away. Bit of pinball, and eventually it breaks back to the Swedish defender, who launches it clear with the left foot out for a Rangers throw-in over on that far side.
Sterling did ever so well there, cutting in. I'd have liked to have seen just a little bit more positivity and driving at the Celtic backline. I thought he played Roof in too early, but you can see that Matondo's playing inside and he's trying to open up Sterling. I didn't think that Sterling would bomb on as much as he does. He's clearly all right-footed, not like a Barisic or a Yilmaz, but it's creating opportunities in this wide area.
Ball for Rangers, aimed towards Matondo. Johnston's the covering player as it drifts down towards the corner flag. It's a foul by Matondo.
Yeah, it's a silly foul.
Clever defending as well by Johnston. He knew that the challenge was coming.
Yeah, but it's a silly foul because Johnson just slowed up a little bit and he used his experience. But you don't, he was under pressure. And you just get him to take a touch and then put him under the pressure, but he just go into his back and give away the foul. It's an interesting. Rangers are starting to come into it a little bit. They're starting now to progress higher up the pitch and get into dangerous positions, and this is where Celtic need to use a little bit of their experience and composure. If they do get a ball, just keep it a little bit and take that pressure away from themselves.
There's a loose ball by Greg Taylor, putting it straight into touch. Rangers have it. They've moved over to this left-hand side. Matondo is had it taken off him by O'Reilly as Johnston finds McGregor, and he rolls it left-footed to Taylor, left of the centre circle with guys in. Maida out to the left-hand side. Low ball along the grass to Maida. Skips away from Tavernier. Cantwell comes back and is brought to the ground by the Japanese international, and that'll be a free kick to Rangers. Just about level with the edge of the D of their own penalty area over on that right-hand side. 11 in, goalless at Ibrox.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what you think, Neil, in relation to who's going to deal with McGregor in the middle of the pitch, because for me there's nobody designated, and I've seen games already this season somebody's almost pushed on to McGregor, stopped him from dictating the game, and I think that might be something.
They haven't done it yet, Rangers. No. They're going a flat 4-3-3 part, so I think they're more occupying like kind of the stretch of the game, like going out to the fullback so they can get there. I mean, you're right though, sooner or later one of the central midfielders has to step in there, but just now I think Rangers are starting to dominate the ball, they're starting to dominate possession, they're really asking questions of this Celtic backline and midfield.
Ascar out to Cantwell. It's been a struggling couple of weeks for Brendan Rodgers out of the League Cup. Held at home by St Johnstone, 100% at home last season for Celtic, and that's gone already. League Cup defence gone already. This is a huge afternoon for him personally as he tries to kick-start the season. Long ball for Rangers, goes into touch for a Celtic throw-in over on the far side. They haven't scored in their last two. They haven't gone 3 in a row without a goal since March 2007, when they fired blanks against AC Milan in the San Siro, and in league games against Rangers and another against Falkirk. They've gone back a heck of a long time if they aren't able to register a goal today. As Jack knocks it back to Suter. Suter stepping out of defence, throwing it to the left for Sterling, just inside his own half, under pressure from Amada. Goes back to Suter. Side foots it back to Jack Butland. Rangers looking to shake off the cobwebs of Eindhoven. Top of the table before the international break. Both these teams with a chance to do that today. As Joe Hart flops down onto it. It's to the right of his box. It's goalless after 13.
Yeah, it's interesting, obviously, that every ball back to Jack Butland. He's forced actually to kick along, but he's got those 4 targets almost up on the line, and that's keeping the Celtic back 4 obviously intact. And then it's about who wins the battle, who wins that first ball when it's played long. Can Celtic deal with it, or will they be under pressure?
Kyogo looked like he'd been caught by Raskan. Play on, Celtic at the advantage. Taylor down the left-hand side for Maida. Up against Tavernier's at left angle of the box, starts into it, and then Tavernier just gets a little nick on him there. Maida goes down. That could well have been a penalty award.
Yeah, there was just a nudge. He does great, Maida, by cutting across Tavernier. Really purposeful. And had he gone down, he would have really asked the question, or probably the VAR would have got involved. I'm not sure if Don Robertson would have given it, but again, driving into the box, it was just a slight bump. And I mean, you can show the honesty of the man Maida. He doesn't really play for it or cry out for a penalty, but certainly a little touch.
It's interesting, you've got down to get a penalty. It's the long ball out towards Sterling, can't get there, and that will be a throw-in to Celtic. I guess if the players impeded, the players impeded.
Yeah, well, I would say so. It's not going to be looked at, of course, but Liam, it's just something that's developing that I touched on at the start of the game about Sterling, whether he'd be up and down the pitch, and he's run off Abada probably about 3 or 4 times now. I don't know what's in the boy's engine, whether he can get up and down the pitch the whole game, but when he's going forward, Ryan Jack's coming across and to the left back area just in case of a counter-attack, but what it's doing, it's giving a man overload in the wide area for Rangers.
Celtic ball down on this near side. Rangers wanted a free kick in the midst of that. Here's O'Reilly picking it up and running it out of play. Rangers throwing. Jack over it midway inside Celtic territory, bowls it back to Raskan. It's it under control, and then elects to pass it back to Goldson. We tick towards the 15-minute mark. The first derby between these two this season. No goals as yet. Suter square to Goldson. Showed a little bit too much to Turnbull, but he's found Cantwell. Cantwell's pass bounces off Turnbull and goes back into Celtic possession, back into their own half with Scales out to the left for Taylor, to Turnbull, and back to Liam Scales, left of the centre circle, McGregor. Scales again to Lagerbilke. Here's Johnston.
That's what you're talking about,
yeah. McGregor. Yeah. McGregor always showing for the ball. Left-footed pass, looking for Abada. Can he find him? Yes, he can. Abada fires it across. Kyogo misses it. And then Suter clears. His Tavernier got there ahead of Maida at the back post. What a chance for Kyogo Furuhashi.
Oh, he's got to score. I think he stepped over the ball.
Oh, he tried a little back heel part. I think he was maybe beyond the ball across the front post. He was trying to just catch it with the back heel.
It started from almost in Celtic's half when McGregor space, opening up and played a brilliant weighted pass in between the centre half and the full back for Abada to come on, and all he had to do is put it across first time, and Kyogo was there. What a chance. I think the best chance so far of the game.
It is, but what a pass from Callum McGregor. It's outstanding. Out to Abada on this near side. Kyogo's trying to flick or trying to dummy. Either way, the chance is gone, but here comes Celtic again. Turnbull with a reverse ball into the box low, but it comes right through to Butland, and it remains 0-0.
Well, that's what you're talking about, Pat, about McGregor just being alone there. It's okay when you're in possession, but out of possession, I feel that you do have to sit in him because he's the dictator of the play. He organises the attacks from that central position. His ball inside Sterling was magnificent. Abada absolutely put it on a plate for Kyogo. Maybe his run took him across the near too early, but I tell you who did defend well. I think it was James Tavernier at the back post, because Maeda was coming in for a tap in there as well. So Rangers got away with one there.
And ball are going out of play on the far side for a Rangers throw-in, despite the best efforts of McGregor.
Yeah, contrary to what I maybe thought, I thought Celtic might have gone a little bit deeper and taken the heat out of the game a little bit and tried to, but they're actually playing higher up the pitch, and I think that's been down to McGregor being having the opportunity. Yeah, you're right, he tried, just watching this replay, he tried that little kind of almost back heeler, wasn't it? And I think he should have went with his normal foot,
first foot. Right foot, yeah.
Yeah, and play it because he had space. But interestingly for Kyogo, he's got across the front post a couple of times now, and I think he's playing higher today. He's not dropping as much as he has been in the last couple of games, so they've probably worked on that.
Rangers fans getting a little edgy just the last few minutes. Celtic have dominated the ball, and they've had that opportunity for Kyogo as well, but here comes Matondo with a long one looking for Dessers. Hart comes to the edge of his box and heads it away out to the left hand side. Greg Taylor onto it. In a good few minutes for Celtic, they're settling into this game.
I was going to say, contrary to what I thought, they're actually playing with a high pace, high intensity. They're passing the ball well, they're moving it well. Yes, they have to defend at times, which is always the question mark when Rangers put them under pressure. But I think they're good. They're not bad. They're in a good position at the moment, and the way they're playing.
They're trying to adapt here now, Rangers, because I'm watching Dessers now. They're leaving Lagerbielke on the ball, who doesn't look brilliantly comfortable. I must admit, when he steps in there, that's 2 or 3 kind of slack passes he tried to punch into the midfield area, and it's been cut out. So Dessers is dropping onto McGregor and then deciding when to jump onto the centre-back, but they're encouraging him to step out.
Tavernier dinking it forward, looking for Dessers, not clear by Lagerbielke. Comes back to Tavernier wide on the right, but he can't keep it in play. And Celtic have a throw-in over on that far side. 2 huge games to come at 3 o'clock here in Sportsound this Sunday afternoon. Aberdeen against Hibernian, both looking for their first wins of the league season. And it's Harden Midlothian against Motherwell at Tynecastle. Motherwell, one of a handful of sides with designs on top spot going into the first international break of the season. A long ball for Dessers, into the Celtic box he goes. Again though, just a bit too much onto it, and Joe Hart claims with both gloves. Yeah, it's knocked out to McGregor.
Dessers is playing up against Liam Scales a lot because he feels maybe physically that he can handle him, and those balls is played up on top of him. He does have that, but so far he hasn't had a real chance, apart from that he was well offside. Yeah, that's going to be the question. Can the 2 centre-halves from Celtic deal with that physical presence today of maybe Dessers, and if Roof's up against him also.
Foul by Abada on Sterling on this near side in the Rangers half. It's going to be interesting to see how Liam Scales' Celtic career goes now, because what an opportunity he's got to make that shirt his own. He's been handed the number 5. Aberdeen were very keen on bringing him back to Pittodrie on a permanent basis. The transfer fee was too hot for them to handle, but he's actually, because of injuries, found himself in the team. You think back to the likes of Ryan Christie, who got his opportunity under Brendan Rodgers and took it with aplomb.
He's a good player, the boy. I liked it. I thought he had a really good season with McDonald in particular up there at Aberdeen. He's left-sided. He's naturally comfortable going out in the wide area if Taylor's going to go on. So he has got an opportunity, Liam. But I mean, he's a tough start already for him. Yeah,
Cantwell out to Tavernier wide on the right, gets the ball into the box. Not his best one here by Scales. Maida with the cushion header has managed to find Turnbull. Just kind of got away from Turnbull though as Jack challenges McGregor. Rangers have it back with Roof. Now it's with Ryan Jack. Side football to Cantwell on the right. Now Tavernier plays it across. Dessers is there! Stretched his leg out, couldn't get it on target. It was wide on the reverse side of the goal, past the left-hand post, and it will stay Rangers 0, Celtic 0 after 21. What a chance that was!
Yeah, it was, Liam. Typically,
he was actually offside.
He's offside again. He's just going ever so early. But it was Cantwell. Cantwell's been really quiet. He's playing in probably an alien position, and a position to him, particularly in his Rangers career, but playing on that right side of a 3. But he was bright there. He shoved a little pass into Tavernier, and Dessers just went off a bit early.
Johnston for Celtic on the right. Long ball down the right. It's cut out by Sterling. Breaks McGregor's way. Lagerbielke for McGregor to Scales. Scales into the centre circle for Taylor. Back to Scales to Lagerbielke again. Celtic looking comfortable when they're on the ball, perhaps not so much when they're out of possession. Johnston goes back to his keeper. The answer to that is to keep hold of it. Hart plays it short to McGregor. Rangers though putting a lot of energy into this as they continue to harry and harass. Celtic dealing with it pretty well though. Turnbull to the left for Taylor. Maida down the touchline. Maida's into possession now. He's moving in field. Drags Tavernier with him. Tries to reverse it to Taylor. Cantwell does a good job to block it though. Forward towards Kemar Roof on that right hand side. Challenged by McGregor. Roof goes down. No free kick. Celtic play on. He's been told to get back to his feet by Don Robertson, the referee, in charge of his second Old Firm game today. Yeah,
Roof had no support there, and Cantwell worked ever so hard to get back with Tavernier, and then when Roof picks it up, he's getting nobody around him to play a pass, and he was swamped by Celtic. This game's to and fro, and I now think Celtic are starting to dominate a bit of possession. And
they're giving it away there.
And then
yeah, here's Ryan Jack picking it up just outside the centre circle. He's asking too much of Roof though, down that right hand side, and it comes all the way through to Joe Hart, who clips it nonchalant fashion onto the chest of Taylor. Taylor has
got to be up there. The Raskin's telling him he's got to be up. It's just an easy clip by Joe Hart to Greg Taylor, and it just gets him out of pressure, gets him into a good position at the park.
They're good at that though, to be fair, aren't they?
Yeah.
Lagerbielke plays it forward. Kyogo again tries to flick, but you can't get much purchase on it, and it comes right through to Butland, who clears first time with the right foot. Up onto the edge of the centre circle for Scales, nods it forward. It comes to Suter. Suter's headed out towards Tavernier, but it's ended up at Goldson's feet as he launches it forward with the right foot. some real murmurings of discontent amongst the Rangers supporters right now.
It's become very scrappy though, hasn't it, for the last 5-6 minutes? It's gone back and forth, and you can see that both sides are just not functioning in the high gears just now. There's slack passing, there's misunderstanding, lack of communication.
It's Callum McGregor to Scales, out to the left for Taylor. Both managers at the edge of their technical areas as Taylor's pass goes out for a throw-in on the far side. So he tried to find Maida. Rangers throw. Tavernier to take level with the edge of the arc of his own box over on that Govan stand side. Almost on 24 minutes. No goals as yet at Ibrox.
Yeah, Celtic can be happy at this stage the way the game's gone for them. They haven't, they're still very much in the game. They haven't been put on severe pressure in the first 20 minutes. I think the first 20 minutes was always going to be crucial. Could they overcome the pressure that the crowd and almost, I expected Rangers maybe to press them a bit better than they have been doing.
Sterling reads the Johnston pass for his ball and turns, blocked by O'Reilly, and out for a throw into Rangers on this near side. And taken by Jack, bowling it back to Suter. John Suter stepping forward, he likes to do that, but he's run into trouble. Celtic have it back, and now O'Reilly's popped it through to Kyogo, right hand side of the box, he's in. Kyogo for a Hashi, blocked on the line somehow by Connor Goldson. Well, how on earth's that not gone in? Kyogo is wondering that himself right now. Here comes Celtic again, a Bada cross. Again it's cut out by Goldson, and it's launched up high into the air. Celtic try to keep the attack alive, but I think Rangers have cleared it for now. It's out on the left with Taylor. Infield to Callum McGregor. Well, he's perhaps got a little bit of making up to do. The tie was gone by the time Goldson put through his own net there in Eindhoven the other night. That's two crucial interventions there by the Rangers number 6.
Well, you'd have put your house on Kyogo scoring. I know it was a kind of an acute angle that he was running out. The goalkeeper did okay to get something on it a little bit to take the pace out of the ball, and then of course Goldson clearing up. But what a chance! And Suter getting caught in the ball, trying to step out and do something that he shouldn't have been doing. And Celtic pressing them and winning the ball back. But Kyogo,
but again, it's a beautiful ball. It's a lovely little run by Kyogo just in behind the Rangers defence. And I wasn't sure if Jack Butland got a touch on it, but he's trying to just slide it under him. And then Connor Goldson does ever so well to get back.
It's brilliant blocking by Goldson. Meantime, Celtic have won a corner. 26 just about played. It's going to be taken over on the far side. The Celtic left as they attack the goal to the right. Short to Abada, back to McGregor. Out to Liel Abada again on that left hand side. Skips away from Cantwell, turns it back to McGregor. McGregor then rolls it back to the left under pressure from Matondo. He's found Abada, looking to try and play it to the overlapping Taylor. Cantwell read it low, and behind it goes for a Rangers goal kick. It's goalless at Ibrox.
Two big chances for Celtic, one for Rangers in this opening 26 minutes. But I think it's been I know you said maybe it got a bit scrappy. I think it's been a good game. It's going from end to end. And there's a lot of a good, decent quality out there. Maybe the final product is probably just slightly missing.
It looked all the way a Kyogo goal was coming there for Celtic.
He steadied himself, Liam, as well. He was in, he had plenty of time to see the goal, decide where he was going to slip it down Jack Butland's left low or go across, and we tried to probably go under him. Yeah, but Goldson just switching on. It's great. I mean, good defenders will always try and give an extra bit of insurance.
But to say Celtic have probably played the better football though so far. Rangers have seen plenty of the ball. It's been pretty even across the board. Celtic look more comfortable in possession. Rangers look a little bit more direct.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Liam. And actually, they've got a lot of joy by going direct at times over the top of Celtic, but they haven't done it for a wee while now. And I think it was an area of real joy for them.
A great play by Daizen Maida on the far side. Didn't look favourite to blue shirts around him. He goes down, but he'd managed to find a teammate before he released the pass. Just takes the pressure off his defenders. As Lagerbilka picks up and plays it short to his right for Johnston. Back to Gustav Lagerbilka, who arrived from Elfsborg in his homeland. He's under serious pressure. Oh, Dessers has ransacked him. Cyril Dessers is in one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Pulls it back to Roof, takes a touch and scores! Ivar Roof gives Rangers the lead. The first derby of the season between these two title contenders. And it is the challengers who lead the champions. An awful mistake by Gustav Lagerbilka, and it nicked off him by Dessers, who unselfishly
Well, I spoke about Lagerbielke not looking comfortable in possession of the football. They're trying to encourage him to step out, and then Dessers is deciding when to jump. He jumps on him, he robs him, and he's in and goal. And like he did earlier in the game, he's not really looking to finish it himself. He's looking for support. And when he rolls it to the best finisher at the club, Kemar Roof, he's so assured. He takes a nice touch with his right foot, and he just smashes a left one past Joe Hart, and it's a quite brilliant finish.
They're checking it obviously to see was it a foul on Lagerbielke.
Not for me, but I'm
not saying whether it is or
they
not,
always check, but it's absolutely a source that Rangers have been looking at after it. You said it about McGregor getting too much space, so Dessers drops off and he's saying, right, come on, because he knows he's going to step in and try and play that little ball. But as soon as he looks at the ball to play the pass, Dessers jumps and there is body contact.
He's going to come and look at it.
Yeah.
Wow. Don Robertson's coming to look at it. He's been told to come over and give it a review by Alan Muir, the VAR. So this goal might not stand. Kemar Roof celebrated wildly with the 50,000 Rangers fans inside Ibrox. But Don Robertson's over looking at it.
There is some pressure on the referee now at this point in time. He's obviously... He's put his foot in, he's kicked into actually the back of Dessers.
Listen, I mean, for me, he's kicked Dessers there.
Here we go, decision made by Don Robertson.
Goal, yeah.
He's given it.
No, he's not.
He's given a free kick. He's given a free kick to Celtic.
See,
Lagerbielke was fouled according to the VAR, and Don Robertson agrees and chalks off the Rangers goal.
Wow.
0-0.
This is contentious. For me, that's not a free kick, but
listen.
I think Dessers has put his foot towards the ball, and Lagerbielke has kicked Dessers. That's not a free kick in my opinion.
I don't disagree with you. I absolutely don't disagree. I think he did kick the back of his calf, but it's amazing how the interpretation of a referee and the VAR can look at that. But this is a big lesson from Lagerbielke not to be hesitating on the ball. Do the thing quickly, get your pass away, because you're going to be put under pressure. You're the last man in defence. Make up your mind quickly to get that ball away. And he hesitated. And that's when he was closed down.
I don't remember the laws of the game saying as an opposition player you can't put your foot down somewhere that is going to impede the player. That's not on. I mean, Dessers has read that, and of course there's contact. It's a contact sport. And when he's put his foot down, Lagerbielke's then tried to drag his other foot across. He's kicked Dessers, he's gone down. That's not a free kick. That's a really poor decision from Don Robertson.
I think Lagerbielke is as relieved as you can possibly get, because I think he'll know as well that there was not much in that at all. Now, you see fouls given for that. You do, of course you do. You've seen that in the past. And you're not entirely surprised if that is given as a free kick as soon as Dessers wins the ball back. But given the match referee has allowed that to continue, he's seen the contact. But there you go, Celtic get away with it as Johnston comes down the right, looking to win at least the corner, which he's done. Now Celtic looking to turn the screw after that let-off. 32 just about played, and 0-0.
Yeah, it's a huge moment in the game, of course. And, 30 minutes gone in this game. Both teams probably doing as well as they could do in circumstances, but a big mistake. I think it was a mistake because he hesitated.
Here's Callum McGregor for Celtic, out to Abada, evades the challenge of Cantwell, looks up at the box, chips it in, too close to the keeper though, and Butland holds on. Rangers come forward, probably driven on by a sense of injustice, as Jack picks up and goes back to Goldson. He finds Suter at the edge of his own box. Side football forward to Tavernier.
Super
First time
pass
to the right there for Rascan. Looks up, long ball coming forward again. Matondo gives chase, and that one too is too close to the keeper. This time Joe Hart, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
It's amazing, the two centre halves making two big mistakes. Shooters earlier on when he got caught in the ball, and Kyogo getting in, and now when they're Lagerbielke making a big mistake, and that's the risk the players take now at the back, unfortunately, and both got away with it.
There's Maida down the left-hand side. Celtic taking on Tavernier, fancies his chances, plays the ball off Tavernier, bounces into the Rangers box, and it's hooked clear by Todd Cantwell. Scales underneath it with a header, cushion out to Taylor on that left-hand side. Greg Taylor, under no real pressure, plays it forward with the left, but he's put it straight to Tavernier, who responds in kind with a long ball, got over the head of Lagerbielke. Through goes Dessers, but Hart comes down to the edge of his box. and wins it back for Celtic. So close to Cyril Dessers. Brilliantly read by Joe Hart, but once again Lagerbilka misjudging things.
Yeah, he looks shaky, doesn't he? But again, I've spoken already several times now, Liam, and you've touched on it yourself. The direct nature that Rangers can go has caused Celtic the most problems. Roofe is coming short, he's coming in off that right side, he's coming short. He's occupying McGregor, so there's no cover and no protection. One centre-back gets dragged in slightly with him as well because of the subtle movement. And then the ball over the top for Dessers has been on all the time.
Free kick to Celtic, foul by Raskin on Turnbull.
Yeah, I did say also the physical element, that bit of pace, and they've got to just read the game a little bit better. Even if don't go tight, drop off, whatever they do, but they've got to get to the ball first and not allow it to bounce.
Joe Hart's position's good.
Great.
You know, as a sweeter
really good.
I actually still think Dessers hesitates ever so slightly. I think if he's braver there, he knocks it past Joe Hart.
Matondo was caught by O'Reilly there, but it's come off O'Reilly last and out for a throw-in to Rangers on this near side. Both these two, of course, learned their European fates on Thursday and Friday. So they go into the Champions League and Europa League respectively in the upcoming UEFA campaign. It's a poor ball, wide of defence by Rangers, and it's actually going to be a foul, I think, by Maida and Tavernier. And they actually put themselves under pressure there.
I don't think it was a foul. I thought he got to the ball first.
He got to the ball first, Pat, but I think as he's sliding in there, his foot maybe comes up and catches Tavernier. He maybe just wipes him out, you know, you can see that.
And the guys have got the benefit of a monitor in front, so we can see.
Yeah, he did wipe him out, but he got to the ball first.
He did that. So, I mean, it's just a foul. There's no yellow card or anything there.
10 to the break at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Rangers have had the ball in the net twice in this first half. In the opening minute through Matondo, Dessers was offside. He was clearly offside. And then Kemar Roofe scored what looked like to be the opening goal before Don Robertson, the referee, was asked to come over, and he gave a foul on Lagerbilka by Dessers, so the goal was ruled out.
And it was interesting when Dessers got the ball and he raced through again, his first thought was, I want to pick somebody out. He didn't really have the confidence to go and maybe strike it himself as an out-and-out striker.
Yeah.
And it was the same with the one that he was offside on.
Yeah, the one with Matondo, he's always looking, maybe he's just not feeling it right now, but I mean, it chose the right decision, and Roofe's dispatches it. But yeah, we'll get into that half-time, no doubt, when the guys pour over the replay back at PQ.
Scored 7 times for Cremonese in Italy last season. His team was relegated from Serie A ahead of his move to Rangers. He's managed a couple as Tavernier crosses in and takes a deflection. Scales does well, though. His ball out of defence. Taylor's been caught napping, though. Cantwell with a delicate chip, and it's held on to by Hart at his near post, with both Roofe and Matondo lurking behind him. Stays nothing each.
Yeah, that little hesitancy again from Greg Taylor just in the box, taking a little bit of risk to settle on the ball instead of just putting his boot through it and clearing his lines and taking the pressure right off.
Of course, he's been excluded from the Scotland squad for the upcoming double-header, the huge Cyprus qualifier on Friday. Sports Sound will have coverage of that. Highlights on Sports Scene. Friendly with England the following week at Hampden. As Maida's chopped to the ground by Tavernier, free kick Celtic over on that left-hand side. To be fair, Scotland are well stocked when it comes to full-backs. It'll be a Celtic free kick then. It's almost at the midway point of the Rangers half, just a yard or two away from the Govan stand touchline. It's taken by Turnbull back to Scales. Scales prods it forward there to Taylor, back out to Turnbull, then back to Scales. Low ball, side-footed forward to O'Reilly, to Turnbull, out to Taylor, back to Scales. Now it's McGregor, Celtic trying to weave a way through. Instead, McGregor goes back to Lagerbilka in the centre circle, to Scales, out to the left-hand touchline for Taylor. Good move by Celtic. Here's O'Reilly, pulls it back towards the penalty spot, where it's blocked by Goldson and out for a Celtic throw-in. Over on the far side as the champions look to get their noses in front.
Yeah, they worked it quite well. Nice little bit of interchange of passes. Centre half, midfielders all involved, and then Matt O'Reilly making that forward run into. I thought his final ball wasn't great though. Didn't get a lot of pace on.
Lagerbilka short to Johnston, to the edge of the centre circle. McGregor now to Scales. Again, the Rangers fans not happy with the ease with which Celtic are being able to pass the ball around here. Turnbull back to Scales. 7 from the break, 0-0. Scales square to McGregor. McGregor then Short to Turnbull, back to Scales. They'll know with every pass, the more infuriated the Rangers supporters are becoming. Albeit Kemar Roof wins it back over there. Turnbull batters it off him and out. It goes off Turnbull, last for a throw-in to Rangers over on that far side. Again, it's got a little bit scrappy here.
Yeah, but the Rangers fans are not daft. I mean, they see what we're seeing. If McGregor starts to dictate play and get on the ball and start moving things around, that's when Celtic become really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
And Roof was late getting in there to shut him off, and that's what started the period of possession for Celtic.
And the Rangers fans, you heard the roar in the background, thought that Lagerbielke had impeded Dessers. The referee didn't agree with that summation.
Well, it's that direct.
Picks it up.
Sorry, it's that direct ball again, isn't it? Played up over the top, and,
yep.
and that's going to be a feature, I think, of the game throughout. To see.
Well, the more they do that part, the deeper Celtic will drop because they're worried about the ball over the top. That's then it will bring Kemar Roof into play. Guys at Cantwell, if he can get closer to the game. Listen, I think he's been on the periphery of the match as well, out on that right side. He needs to get closer towards Roof when Rangers in possession of football, open up that right channel for Tavernier to get high and wide.
Yeah, Cantwell's not involved at all.
No, he's not.
He's playing deeper.
Yeah, well, he's playing in a totally different position.
Yeah.
We're used to see him playing left of a three. He's playing right of a three, clearly because he's got enthusiasm, he's got energy, he can match Taylor, and he can get back and help Tavernier and Maeda. But with that, you lose the balance of what he can do with the ball.
It is a Rangers goal kick to be taken by Jack Butland as we head towards the final 5 minutes of the first half here on Sunday Sports Sound across the frequencies on BBC Radio Scotland, on digital and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Rangers forward with Dessers cut out by Scales, who clears with the left foot into the Rangers half. Cushion header forward there by Goldson. Jack helps it on its way. It goes straight to Scales though, who finds Turnbull, who plays it forward down the left. Maeda will give chase. Goldson will get there first though. And this shuts the door in Maeda's face.
Yeah,
Don't want to be one-on-one with Dyson Maeda, I wouldn't have thought.
Turnbull's got to be up alongside Maeda there. You know, Maeda were hard graft in to go and chase down. The ball is played in behind Connor Goldson. He's allowed him to turn out, but suddenly an easy pass, and Turnbull's got to be up behind him.
Oh, what a good pass that is.
There's Matondo in behind Johnston down the left, but he's blocked there by Lagerbielke, and I think the Rangers fans felt Alistair Johnston had fouled the Welshman, who's back in the Wales squad for their upcoming double-header.
The pass from Sterling was brilliant because it eliminated Johnson, and Matondo took a good touch, but Johnson comes across, but full mark Lagerbielke, he switched on, he came over, he covered the run inside. I didn't see much in it, to be honest.
Brendan Rodgers down there encouraging his players as Cantwell picks up on this near side and sweeps it into the centre circle in the Celtic half for Rascan. Now with Jack right footed out to John Sterling on the left. He's found Matondo in a bit of space. Matondo level with a 6, hitting the byline, pulling it back, poor ball, looking for O'Reilly. He was trying to find Cantwell, he put it straight to O'Reilly, and Celtic get it away. Jack goes back to his keeper.
That was a good chance for Matondo. He's been so quiet since his early introduction into this match where he exploded into life with that offside goal. He's gone really quiet. We've not been speaking about him at all for the last 25-30 minutes, and then he gets two opportunities there, one just to try and pick someone out. Matt O'Reilly then sweeps up, but it's certainly an area that could be reinvented by Rangers. They've been so quiet out in this right channel.
Ryan Jack stepping
it's
forward.
open again, by the way.
Yep, Jack plays it short towards Cantwell, but it's cut out by O'Reilly. A great option in John Sterling on the left. Instead it's Celtic with McGregor with a long pinged ball out to this right hand side. The switch to Abada can only cushion it. Sterling though, and Jack goes back to Shooter. Rangers fans want this ball played forward. It's Ryan Jack. Rascan, you can perhaps get a chance to lay down a marker here this afternoon. Jack goes back to Goldson. And the outcomes of these games can be crucial. They were crucial last season in the end. As Tavernier goes long, looking for Dessers. Lagerbielke cuts it out, and Joe Hart gets it half away. Chance here though for Matondo, skies it over the bar with the keeper in no man's land. Difficult one for him, but he can't get it near the target, and on almost 43 it will stay Rangers 0, Celtic 0. As usual, plenty to talk about.
Yeah, that ball in was a hopeful ball from Tavernier. You can see what he's trying to do, but there was absolutely no danger. The communication by Lagerbielke and Joe Hart was non-existent and almost caused a calamity. Matondo, when it comes to him, you can see he's just trying to steer it from 25-30 yards out with his left foot, as Joe Hart was well out his goal, but gets it all wrong. But when that direct ball goes over the top towards those two Celtic centre-backs, they look very, very uncomfortable.
There's Johnston for Celtic. Up the line here on the near side for Abada, back facing his own goal. He's in his own half as well. Nicked off him by Matondo. It was out for a Celtic throw. There have been spells in the game where they've been on top, but it's not been a real extended period where one team's been the better one.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't expect it either, Liam, because you're at Ibrox. You would expect that Rangers wouldn't set off and allow you to dictate the game. They've got to, and the pressure will force them to do that. So from that perspective, yeah, but they've done okay. But the mistakes that they're actually making at the back has caused them the biggest issue.
Yeah, Badal chase Johnston header. Goldson read it though, goes back to his keeper. Easy to be confused. David Turnbull was there walking back from an offside position, but Abada wasn't offside. Here's Matondo under pressure from Johnston, back to Sterling. He rolls it back to Suter in the final minute of the 45. There will be a few added on.
Sorry, Liam, I was just about to say that Sterling, he's actually looked really strong and aggressive against Abada. I don't think Abada, when the ball comes up to him, when he's back to Sterling, he fancies it because he knows that Sterling's got the power. But you can see that Rangers neglect actually to roll Sterling in at times, whether if it was Barisic or Yilmaz, I think they would just punch it to him on the left foot. And they've reneged on that a couple of times when I feel it was been on.
Yeah, he'd 28 appearances for Stoke City last season. He was fairly regular. Long ball forward by Rangers, headed away by Scales, only as far as Jack, who finds Matondo, finds Dessers, tries to get into his stride, burrowing his way into the box, left hand side of the goal frame, the byline, he tries to pull it across. It's off Lager Bilka, and behind for a Rangers corner as we go into the first of 2 minutes of a stoppage time at the end of the first half here in Glasgow.
I think they're lacking a bit of physicality at the back, and I'm not saying they're small guys, Lager Bilka and Scales, but any time the ball was in the air, that time it was Cantwell going through and they just looked all over the place, so uncertain. Just nod the ball down, and then Dessers actually didn't look favourite there, and Lager Bilka, it looks as if he's pulling up.
Lightweight, I would say, would be the issue. They're tall enough, they should be able to deal with balls in the air.
There's a huge group of players standing right in front of Joe Hart as the corner comes in very deep towards the back post. Roof heads it down into the ground but wide, and it will stay Rangers 0, Celtic 0 at Ibrox.
Yeah, half chance there for Roof, deep corner by Tavernier. It was a little cluster of players towards the edge of the box, and Roof's really good at spinning around the back there. Lost Matarillo in the flight of the ball, but was always on his heels on the way down and couldn't direct it back on target. But there's lots of things for both managers to work on at half-time here. Adjustments of tactics, maybe more information to certain groups of players in terms of combinations and areas that they can go and win the game.
Long ball forward by Joe Hart from the goal kick. First half stoppage time. And a chance for Kyogo. How on earth did that come through to him, and he scores! Kyogo Furuhashi scores! End at Ibrox.
Was he offside?
Taken it back by Rangers, and Kyogo lashes the ball past Jack Butland, and this place is utterly stunned. The champions strike the first blow between these two this season. It's Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
That's the only question, Liam. Was he offside? And we'll see on this replay, because the ball, no, he's not. He's
well onside.
Miles onside. Abada might have been offside, but I tell you, John Suter's on his way out when it gets helped back in. Is it Turnbull maybe? But my goodness, that is such an unerring finish. It just drops, it just smashes it on the volley first time, low past Jack Butland into the corner of the net. I mean, I was talking about team talk, that's just changed Brendan Rodgers probably, and probably Michael Beale, but it's such a cheap goal to lose.
What an outstanding finish by Kyogo.
Oh, half a chance really that was, but he's hit it on the volley absolutely beautifully when it's bounced up, and he hit it with a little bit of bend with his outside of his right foot, takes it round Jack Butland, and he had no chance in the goal from that distance. What a finish, and that's how the game can change when you have a striker like that up front. He's switched on, isn't he? He is really switched on.
Kyogo onto it like a flash, very similar to the goal he scored at Pittodrie when Nicky Devlin headed back towards him. Still had lots of work to do, and he has volleyed that home from outside the box past a very fine goalkeeper in Jack Butland, and Celtic have the lead at Ibrox. That is a massive blow for Rangers right on the stroke of half-time. A blow to the solar plexus, to the team that thought they'd taken the lead as the half-time whistle goes. Kyogo Furuhashi You just cannot give him any kind of chance in and around the box, because that is what happens. And he has thundered that ball home. Kemar Roofe thought he'd given Rangers the lead just before the half-hour mark. It was ruled out for a foul by Dessers and Lagerbielke. That after Matondo had the ball in the net inside the opening minute. Kyogo had an opportunity himself after 16 when he kind of flicked it fresh air and the ball evaded him. And he also had a shot blocked by Connor Goldson. He might not be involved in every passing move by Celtic, but he's been involved in all their opportunities here at Ibrox this afternoon. And it is he who has had the biggest say of all after the first half of the first Old Firm derby of the season here at Ibrox, where at half-time it is Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
The Old Firm derby, Rangers versus Celtic.
What a strike!
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
So Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland this Sunday, and it is a lead for Celtic right on the stroke of half-time. I think there was a problem with Richard's line at Pittodrie. If Richard is there, perhaps he could pick up from me now. No, he's not. Unfortunately, he's not. We'll try and get that line back up from Pittodrie. It's ahead of the two big kickoffs to come at 3 o'clock. Aberdeen, Hibs and Hearts, Motherwell, which will be getting underway. So you're stuck with me, Liam McLeod, here on Sports Sound. We've just watched the first half here at Ibrox. Let Neil and Packy just a moment or two to gather their thoughts after that at times pulsating first half, I think it's fair to say. We've got Tom English, our chief sports writer here, who's been watching this enthralled and enthused, I would have thought. What's your takeaway from that first half? To English?
Well, it was a million miles an hour, wasn't it? I mean, it was absolutely breathless from start to finish. A lot of incidents, a lot of controversy. The Rangers goal that wasn't, and that sucker punch from Kyogo. And look, he's had 3 chances in the game. You know, he didn't make the most of the first one. Goldson brilliant defending for the second one. The third one was a half chance, as the boys were saying. And I think everyone was taken by surprise, including Jack Butland, that he's hit it so early. And it's a peach of a strike, an absolute peach. But we've had the Rangers goal as well. We've got a lot to get through here.
We do indeed.
Well,
thanks to Liam.
Yeah,
thanks.
There better be some pies left.
Thanks to Liam. We are, well, we're fine. We were hearing you guys. Apologies if you weren't hearing us. So plenty to look back on from the opening 45 minutes. Kyogo could perhaps shoot have been a hat-trick. Certainly scored from the least difficult of the opportunities he has had. But there's talking points galore, both in terms of the play during the course of the 45 minutes, but also, of course, some of the decisions. I think everyone can be agreed, Tom, that in the 37th second of the match when Matondo scored, Dessers was clearly offside. I feel that the goal that was disallowed when Roofe scored in the 28th minute is going to be one of those that is going to cause discussion and debate. It is not clear to everyone exactly whether that was the correct decision or not. Would you agree?
I would agree, and I've watched it multiple times now. What I see, or what I think I see, is Dessers' right foot standing on Lagerbielke's right foot. Then Lagerbielke's left foot kicks Dessers, and Lagerbielke goes down, and the play goes from there. Did Dessers' right foot definitely stand on Lagerbielke's right foot? Is that clear? Is that clear and obvious?
For me, I think it. Well, I don't know if it's clear and obvious.
It has to be clear and obvious, doesn't it?
Well, that is exactly the bylaw. That is how they're supposed to view it. Certainly, clearly we're privileged in the sense that the people listening back home can't hear this. We've got, or can't see this rather. We do have the opportunity to. We've been sent clips through from the guys who are editing it for Sports Scene tonight. For me, there is the situation exactly as you described it. The right foot of Dessers comes down on the right foot of Lagerbielke, who then attempts to kick the ball with his left, catches the back of the Rangers player, down he goes, and Dessers runs through to set it up. But I sense that Neil McCann may be blowing a gasket as we're this, because I'm not sure Neil sees it quite like that.
Richard, I get one look at it on the monitor here. I haven't seen the come through because it's not loading, but looking at it, if Don Robertson has been directed to the VAR and he's come over and he's given it for that connection by Lagerbielke's left foot on Dessers, that is never a free kick. I know there's been certain suggestions there's a hand on the shoulder. If we start giving fouls for hands on bodies, we're finished.
The hand on the shoulder is irrelevant. I mean, it is there, but there's absolutely no force. There's no push.
Well,
I'll be interested. It's the first of the clips that we've got there, Neil. When it does load, and I know the issues that are there at Ibrox at times, trying to get it to load for you guys, as to whether you do see the right foot of the Rangers player catching the right foot of the Celtic player, and then the kick through. Well, you're saying no, but you haven't seen it.
I'm just watching it now, so it's not a foul for me. I think when
so you don't think there's contact there?
I think when he puts his foot down,
the right foot of each player.
That we didn't notice, Neil, at the very.
Watching it, Pat, and it's not because I've got a Rangers hat on here. His foot's down right next to Lagerbielke's standing foot. That isn't what brings the boy down. What brings the boy down is when he's trying to bring his left foot through.
The argument is,
catches him.
Does it come down beside his foot, or does it come down on his foot?
Beside his foot. We can't see it from that angle though properly. We need to see another angle.
Well, from my blue glasses, that's looking like it's.
From my clear glasses, because I don't have a foot either, Cam. I'm looking at that. The view. The angle from behind the goal, for me, it looks as if he stands on the Celtic player's left foot.
No, I can see what you're saying there.
And that would have impeded him a little bit, yeah?
Well, if someone stands in your foot as you're attempting to kick the ball, it does tend to impede you, doesn't it?
Yes.
But look, the big, and it was said there, isn't it? Clear and obvious. Is it clear and obvious either way?
Well, that's what VAR's, I think, there to help the referee, isn't it? You know, they've obviously given him instruction. Also, when he watched the video, and he would have probably seen it from a couple of different angles that we didn't see from what we watched on TV initially. So you react off that, but he has time to react off it, but he has to be given the help from the VAR, and that's when he makes his decision.
It's not, I mean, it isn't mostly. I think, I mean, the vast majority of these VAR decisions, once you see them, once you go through them, you do it forensically, pretty much you come to a conclusion, and most people have a similar conclusion. I've just watched it again, and for me, he stands on him. He stands on his foot.
Is it clear? And is it obvious?
I can't see it's that clear, Richard.
Well, yeah. I've seen it now. Apart from the little clip on the phone, I'm just watching it on the iPad there as well, and it's the bigger, the closer angle, if you like, and for me, he stands in him. But I still wonder if that is clear and obvious.
Yeah. Well, that's a consideration that the referee must have. The boys in the VAR room, but it was just another example of Lagerbielke getting caught, and I think he's been caught on a number of occasions in this match.
Yeah.
Richard, in particular with the direct route by Rangers, and they have got joy from that. He looks a little bit unsteady and shaky. Tom's just unloading another one on us here, but I mean, it's so. I don't think he maybe catches him from. We're looking at it from another angle here, and it looks like he's on his side of his boot, Richard. Is that a clear and obvious mistake with the referee? Is there enough contact to turn him over? I think it's his left leg.
I suppose the other part of the argument would be is that it is a contact sport. Contact is allowed.
Yeah.
It's only if that contact is foul.
Impeded.
Yeah. So
and I think the impediment that he's suffered is he's not allowed to drag his movement leg, his left leg through to continue in a natural stride pattern, because Desser's leg is there. Then that, for me, is not a foul, because then Dessers is entitled to put his boot there, he's entitled to put his body there. You see players doing it all the time. In fact, Cantwell did it out in the side with Maeda, where he gets his body across people, and you're putting yourself in a position that stops a forward motion of the opposition player. That's not against the rules for me, but listen, it's gone now, and Kyogo's then and gone and just done. I think what he does best is just put the ball in the back of the net against everybody else, but in particular Rangers in these fixtures.
Richard, there will be debate from both sides about that goal, but the point from Lagerbielke is that he hesitated. You know, and he's the last man in defence. He has a ball. Yes, Brendan wants them to take risks and so on, but you've got to be sure. You've got to either make your decision early, don't get caught on the ball, because if you get caught on the ball and anything can happen. If he didn't stand on his foot, that was a goal. You know, so the mistake is made by being hesitant. Do it quickly. Centre halves, get the ball down, make sure that you know what you're going to do before the ball comes if you can, and get your pass away. Don't put the ball at that much risk, otherwise you're going to be found out, and that's what happened.
You know, the narrative coming into this was all, for Celtic's perspective, was all about centre backs. Wood Phillips play, Scales, he had a tough time the last day. Actually, Lagerbielke is the one that we're all talking about, because he has looked so vulnerable in pretty much every aspect of his play. He's a bit spooked out there. He's got away with the goal that wasn't. A couple of very other hairy moments for him. So he's unsettled. Scales looks okay, actually.
He's done well. He's on the ball also, I must say. He's lent himself to the game really well. And I felt sorry for him last week. I did say it in commentary. Young man who's gone out on loan, played a different way, obviously with Aberdeen, than he's expected to play with Celtic. But I think he's done okay. Physically, he's not that strong up against Dessers, and that's where they played directly over the top, and that's a bit of a battle. If he gets through this game today and handles that in the second half and they win the game, then he'll be in a much better position, confidence-wise too.
Yeah. Just in terms of the overall the flow, what we've seen in the game, that have been spells, Tom, when both sides have enjoyed possession, have looked to be having the upper hand. Is there a sense, or is there a concern maybe from a Rangers point of view? They have been up against this Celtic team for the past few years. When Celtic have been dominant, Celtic have dominated the fixture for the most part. They've won games where it didn't look as if they perhaps were going to win the games, just simply because they had the upper hand for whatever reason. Is there a fear, a sense for Rangers that whoa, they've gone and done it again?
Yeah, and like the difference today, halfway through, and the difference in so many other days like this previously has been Kyogo. You know, Rangers don't have a Kyogo, a guy who can be out of the game for large periods, pops up, first time finish, class. Rangers don't have that type of player, and again he's the difference at half-time here. He's had three chances, he might have had 3 goals. He missed the first 2, doesn't matter. You know, it's a Golson clearance header and a Riley header back in, and the Rangers defence is comatose. And the one guy who's tuned into what's going on is Kyogo, and his finish is unerring. It's absolutely brilliant. Richard, he's the difference.
Richard, I think the big difference also with Celtic today is that they've cleared the space for McGregor to play. And Rangers, I'm surprised they haven't really put anybody on to almost stop McGregor dominating the game at certain times. Not all of the game he's dominated, but he's been influential. He's worked the ball from back to front. He played out a few times, and he's had much more space than what I've witnessed in the couple of games leading into this, and that's allowed Celtic to be a much more controlled team, and they're playing quicker up the thirds of the pitch also. That's a big difference.
I think they've been caught once or twice, Pat, and generally in the games gone by, Rangers have had someone go and sit on them and stop them building, particularly from the Celtic's own 18-yard box. But how they've combated that is dropping Dessers in after 5-10 minutes and sitting them and encouraging Lagerbielke to step out. But once it goes midline, Dessers is not going to sit like 15 yards inside his own half, and that's when he stays higher. That's when McGregor becomes freer, and that's the problem that the Rangers are starting to have with McGregor, because when they start to probe around that kind of 30 yards out from Jack Butland, McGregor will pull strings, he'll find gaps, he'll find passes. But I mean, there's not been too much in the game, Richard, between two sides. It's to and fro. No. I pinpointed an area where I think Rangers could get real joy, and it's this left side. Matondo is starting position, he's coming in, so he's given Alistair Johnson a real problem, because he can't go all the way in, because then Sterling is pushing up quite high. Abada's actually reneging on his defensive duties, he's cheating a little bit, and Rangers need to switch the play quicker to exploit that, but they're not doing it. They're going down either midline or out to the right side, and they're actually not getting the head up. And actually the fans behind me are shouting switch it 3 or 4 times, and Rangers are not seeing it. So that's an area I feel that can be addressed by Michael Beale, but I feel Brendan Rodgers tactically, because he's generally quite good at that, will say to Abada, look, I need more from you back way now, particularly because we're one in front. Don't give them an opportunity to come down that side.
You've all been highlighting McGregor as part of the issue for Rangers. I mean, look, they've had the ball in the net twice and they have competed in the game. but they haven't had an individual contribution like McGregor has offered from the likes of Jack, Raskin, Cantwell.
Cantwell's been
yeah, it's a different. They're different types of players, I think.
I just mean in that part, that area of the pitch where you kind of a real decisive impact on the game.
Yeah, well, Neil described it. I think McGregor, if he was playing in that role in midfield, he would see that pass out wide. They've almost been blinkered a little bit and gone down one side, so they haven't had the ability to change the play in that. So that might be, as I say, Neil's already said it might be addressed at half-time, and that will get them into the game, but they have to get a little bit more. But I just think that if they're going to get something out of this game now, they've got to really go at Celtic, and they've got to nullify McGregor, especially in that middle third of the pitch where he's dominant, and see can they get back into this game, because that goal, there's no doubt about it, that goal at half-time, just before half-time, was a sucker punch, and it was a brilliant goal, and Celtic getting the first goal also is a critical factor, I think, in this game.
Well, they had the advantage. Of course, we've seen this fixture swing back and forth many times. Tom English, but the longer Celtic maintain their advantage in this game, the more it's going to build, isn't it, inside that stadium?
Well, it is, yes. Rangers have to get something out of this game, so they're going to have to put a bit of risk into it, a bit more risk into it, which makes them vulnerable at the back. But Kyogo, the man again.
Right, I gather, sorry, I hadn't been aware, but the players are back out at Ibrox. They're ready to get up and running for the second half. So it's commentary here on Sports and on BBC Radio Scotland with Neil McCann, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
How often have Celtic scored late in a half? A crucial one again. Kyogo, as the second half gets underway, no changes for either team. Celtic in the green and white hoop shirts, white shorts, white socks with the green tops, right to left towards the Broomloan Road end. Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops. Celtic in possession here with Taylor deep inside his own half, back to Scales. He's under pressure from Dessers. He turns away from him 180 degrees, eventually completes the full 360, passes it out to Turnbull, who finds Maida, scampers onto it, driving forward now, having evaded the challenger roof. It's Maida, Jack battling to try and win it back, and a combination of both he and Goldson do just that as Tavernier knocks it forward to Cyril Dessers under pressure from Scales on the halfway line. Scales sticking with him, bit of his jersey there as well, and it's a brilliant challenge by Liam Scales, and he's found a bada, but the ref's actually going to bring it back for a free kick. Didn't look like there was much in it for me. The one thing I would say is there was a little tug on the shirt there at the start of the battle between the two.
I think Don Robson was trying to play advantage, but he had one pass in mind. He was trying to hit Sterling when he had an easier pass to John Souttar, and it was actually caught out, and it would have provided Celtic a chance for a counter-attack. But they've slightly changed their tactics here. Liam Rangers, they've dropped Roof into that little position that Pat was talking about in front of the front two. He squeezed Matondo closer to Dessers, so his adjustment of tactics, Michael, will be able to get Rangers probably a little bit more direct.
That's brilliantly done by Alistair Johnston under heavy pressure over on the far side. Just held off his man, spun him and moves it back to Lagerbielke, who gets it from Hart. Here's McGregor, changes pace and is brought down by Raskan. Free kick to Celtic over on that far side. The lineups then: Butland in goal, it's Tavernier, Goldson, Souttar, Sterling, Raskan, Jack, Cantwell, Roof, Matondo, Dessers. For Celtic, it's Hart, Johnston, Lagerbielke, Scales and Taylor, O'Reilly, McGregor, Turnbull, Abad and Maida, and Kyogo. We played 2 second half minutes at Ibrox, nothing each.
Yeah, it's amazing. The one player in the middle of the pitch there for Celtic that took the pressure off Lagerbielke when he had the ball was again that man McGregor, just creating a little bit of space for himself by moving in 10 yards, just getting and giving the option to play out.
Joe Hart was long from the edge of his own box with the right foot. Underneath it is Souttar, heads it forward into the Celtic half. Header from Johnston, back into the Rangers half. Cantwell's there, it's now with Souttar. Long ball forward, Lagerbielke's header goes straight though to Sterling, who launches it forward, looking to get it in behind the Celtic defence from Matondo. Lagerbielke recovers well, finds Johnston with the header, and he clears it out off Sterling for a Celtic throw-in over on that far side. Celtic leading this game by 1-0, and the team that scores first has only lost this fixture 4 times out of the last 44 meetings. Happened twice a couple of seasons ago. Aaron Ramsey gave Rangers the lead here, they lost that one. Greg Taylor gave Celtic the lead in the Scottish Cup semis, and Rangers won that one as Tavernier comes forward. They're going to find Dessers to his right, shows too much of it to Scales, who clears. Here's Raskan for Rangers. Poor ball, straight to O'Reilly. O'Reilly looking to thread it through towards Kyogo, just not enough on the pass. And Shooter can go back to his keeper.
Oh, he had all the space there, Neil, hadn't he, to play a decent ball in behind John Shooter, and the pace of Kyogo would have got him in, there's no question about that. It was a poor pass from O'Reilly.
Yeah, Raskin as well. Sterling wide open on the left-hand side, and he was slack. But the change of formations actually spooked Celtic, because now they have to go long into Kyogo, and that's going to be a mismatch with Goldson and Suter, you would think. But they're occupying more space just in front of Celtic's backline.
Long ball to the edge of the Celtic box. Dessers wins the header, couldn't find Jack. Celtic get it half away, and eventually Johnston boots it up into the air. And it drops down onto the head of Tavernier, who nods it forward. Turnbull cuts it out, but Cantwell will pick it up. Now Raskin firing it out wide left for Matondo. The ref's going to bring it back for a Celtic free kick for a foul by Raskin on O'Reilly.
Yeah, it was a foul.
Cantwell maybe.
Cantwell, sorry.
Cantwell. Yeah, I'm just trying to look to see. Yeah, he just trips him up and impedes Matt O'Reilly for getting closer to Raskin. No,
yeah.
He does that quite a bit, Cantwell. He gets himself involved, or he takes himself out of the play by running in and being too forceful sometimes. He needs to show a wee bit more discipline.
Turnbull straight off Raskin, battling for it. Turnbull holds him off and slides it out to the right for Johnston. Goes long with the right foot, looking for Kyogo's chasing after it. Goldson's the covering Rangers defender, gives it straight to Abada though. Abada fires it across and it just goes wide. How's Daisen Maida not getting a touch onto that one as it goes squirms away for a goal kick?
That was a huge chance again. Again, that forward more direct from Celtic down the side of Connor Golson, and then he Abada picking it. Oh, the goalkeeper's made a great save.
Should be a corner, aye. I mean, he's given a bad kick, but Jack Butland gets a wonderful right hand to that from Abada. That's why Maeda, I mean, it's fizzed into that far corner. It's a cross-come shot by Abada, but it's a big mistake from Connor Golson getting caught in possession.
That's two really good saves in a week that Jack Butland's not going to be credited for. He'd won in Dingwall last week as well.
Yeah.
It was given as a goal kick as it comes back to Joe Hart on the 6-yard line, and he launches it forward with the right foot out to that far side. Underneath it, Sterling into the Celtic half, straight to Johnston. He's lost out to Matondo. It's now with Ryan Jack. Moves it in field. It's another poor ball to Sterling, who then trips his man down. That's going to be a free kick, and he's doing well to get away with a yellow here, Dujan Sterling.
Yeah, I go back to the free kick though. You know, there was a free kick over on the right hand side a couple of minutes ago, and I seen McGregor pushing Matt O'Reilly away from him to create a bit of space, and the same thing on this left side, and he comes tight to get the ball, and they pass it to him, and they end up getting caught in the ball, and Celtic or Rangers breaking from that. Unnecessary risk for me.
Yeah, just another replay. Butland seems excellent there. And that could so easily have been 2-0 to the champions. We do lead this game as Matondo picks up on the far side. They're going to smash it through towards Dessers, and Taylor gets a vital touch to put it out for a throw-in on this near side.
Well, Matondo's showing that he's sharp, you know, he needs to get onto the ball. He's shown up well in the early part of the season for Rangers. He looks energised. Rangers need to get him on it. He's been starved today.
Raskin switching the play out to Sterling wide on the left-hand side. Level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. Short ball to Matondo. Matondo shows too much of it to O'Reilly, who wins it back for Celtic. Over on the far side. Infield to Callum McGregor, who's looked more like himself today. And then Lagerbilka to Taylor, to Scales, then back to Greg Taylor. Celtic playing it out perfectly. Not a great pass by Taylor, blocked by Roof, but out for a Celtic throw-in right in front of their management team. Down on this near side. Brendan Rodgers out chatting with David Turnbull. Subs today, incidentally, for Rangers: McCrory, Yilmaz, Lundstrom, Lawrence, Lammer, Cifuentes, Sima, Davis and Danilo. For Celtic, Bain, Palma, the new boy, Yang, Holm, Kobayashi, Kwon, Bernabe and Ralston. It's back with Johnston. The edge of his own box for Hart. Short ball to Scales. Scales stepping out of defence and rolling it out to this near side for Taylor, who plays it off Cantwell and out for a throw-in to Celtic.
The one thing that Scales does give you a little bit of balance on the left-hand side because he's left-footed. You know, you can see every time he's comfortable when he comes out, and then he can pass out. As long as he does it early, don't dwell on it. Do it early. Get that ball away to the full-back, to the winger if he's available, and that gets him quickly up the pitch.
I think he's been good today, Packy. I have to say, Liam Scales.
Yeah. It's just that little bit of as I talked about at half-time, that physical, but from a defensive perspective, the rest of it has been okay.
Scales once again comes out on top against Dessers, puts it out for a throw-in on this near side. Todd Cantwell will take. 53 and a half played. 1-0 Celtic, and actually since the restart it's been Celtic who've had the best chance, putting on 2-0 up. Butland saving from Abada. Turnbull wins it from a Tavernier throw-in. Here is Turnbull, looks forward, looking for Abada. He'll chase it, but it's going to come through to Butland. Just a bit too much on it in the end, as Butland bowls it out wide left for Sterling. Across the halfway line he goes. He's got runners ahead of him.
He needs someone to show, though. Matondo doesn't want to show, he's wanting to go in behind, but Roof had already done that job.
In the end, it's back with Raskan on the halfway line, into his own half for Goldson, and now with Suter. Suter looking at the pitch ahead of him and likes to roll it out into the touchline there for Sterling, who wins the throw-in back off Johnston.
Yeah, Pat's just pointing out that there's a big switch on to Tavernier, but what Rangers need to be careful of, because the changing tactics a little bit is that they don't all stand up there in a straight line.
It's a good disguised ball by Suter to Cantwell, left-hand side of the Celtic box. His attempted cross is blocked, but the flag's gone up against them. In any case, it's Rangers 0, Celtic 1 here at Ibrox on Sportsound.
I think he's played a bit higher, Cantwell, isn't he?
Well, he's
pushed into that.
Well, he needs to get himself into the game, Pat. He's been really quiet out on this right side. He's been more about what he can do defensively out of possession, but just a couple of times because of Roof dropping into the almost like a 10 position, Matondo going up top. At times when Rangers are building from the back, Roof's going up along side Dessers and Matondo, and it's too straight.
Rangers pinch it back, there's pure ball out of defence, but Matondo gives it straight to O'Reilly, and now it's with Turnbull. Now McGregor, forward towards O'Reilly, straight to Suter. Both teams giving it away so cheaply. 10 into the second half. Here is Cantwell. It's fouled by Maida. Free kick Rangers on this near side. Level with the edge of the centre circle in the Celtic half.
It's a cheap one by Maeda, because I tell you, he was swamped. O'Reilly was on him. Had he turned into trouble, Celtic were in the counter-attack, but Maeda put a really poor challenge in on Todd Cantwell. Gives Rangers a chance to get the big guys up from the back, put a ball into the Celtic box.
Well, you've got to go back 3.5 years to find a domestic game here at Ibrox where Rangers haven't scored. It was a 1-0 defeat to Hamilton, March 2020. Celtic leading 1-0. Here's Tavernier's free kick into the box. It's headed away by Johnston, only as far as Cantwell, who hits it in the half volley, and it's sliced high over the bar, and it will stay 1-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, he wasn't balanced to hit that ball after he took a touch, and he was in a great position, almost that he could set something up, Cantwell. So it was a wasted opportunity. There haven't been that many set pieces, have they, in the game so far, and that's where Rangers do have, I think, probably a bit of an advantage on Celtic.
Given away by Celtic from the back. Here's Raskan trying to profit. Tavernier's made a run to his right. He's found him. Down the right-hand side of the Celtic box goes Tavernier. Little ball into the area, cleared by Liam Scales. And out for a throw-in to Rangers on this near side.
Maeda did well there, working back, because he forced Tavernier into just doing a little clip instead of driving it across the face there, but poor again. I'm sure it was Lagerbielke again, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Raskan back to Jack. No Carter Vickers, no Nawrocki, who was the man who was brought in to replace Carl Starfelt. And Raskan goes back to Goldson, square to Suter. Suter then stepping forward across the halfway line.
Good
forward
pass.
To Cantwell. Cantwell's got a little bit of space, works it forward to Dessers, can't get a touch onto it. Out to the far side it goes, and there'll be a foul against Cyril Dessers. Inside the Celtic box, and Johnston, who did well to get between the man and the ball. 3 minutes shy of the hour mark here at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
He just lacks a little bit of confidence, doesn't he, at the moment, Dessers, you know. Maybe sharpness too. You know.
Yeah, well, to be honest, Pat, I think he goes to try and control it with his wrong foot. He's been punched in by Cantwell. It wasn't a bad ball. He tries to take it on the run with a stretched right boot, and you're always going to be off balance there if he takes it with his left, because it's the furthest away. I think he's in on goal. and then he gives away a cheap free kick with challenging Alistair Johnson out in that wide area.
Seems to be some kind of activity on the Rangers bench. I just wonder if Michael Beale will look to try and alter his personnel. With his team trailing, and right now staring at a second defeat in their first 4 league matches this season. Quite the inauspicious start to proceedings. Long way to go in this one though, as Tavernier switches the play to the left for Sterling. Changing gears, down the left-hand side he goes. Cross covering was Johnston. Now he goes for a Rangers throw-in. Ball back to Jack. Square ball infield to Cantwell. Cantwell looks to switch it out to Tavernier on the near side. Successfully does that. Tavernier takes the touch, moves in field, and eventually rolls it back to Goldson. Looks up, right foot cross ball comes in. Diving headed away by Lagerbilke, and now picked up by Abada, and Kyogo's ahead of him. He can find him, threading it through to Kyogo. In behind momentarily, right hand side of the box, chance for Kyogo. Drags the ball back, goes for the top left corner and puts it over, with Leo Abada waiting in support. The chance potentially was there, you would think, initially for Kyogo when he made his way into the area. Chopped back onto the left and over the bar it goes. It stays 1-0 though, thanks to Kyogo's goal in first half stoppage time.
Yeah, just got caught under his foot, didn't it, on the second touch. And he could have picked up out of Bada, absolutely, but I think the confidence of a striker, he's always going to go for it.
Chance here, Dessers, left-hand side of the box, leaves it for Matondo up the other end. Matondo,
I don't know why he takes
outside the box, he's jinking and jiving around left-hand side of the area, gets it on the right foot, goes for goal, beaten away by Hart, and then half away, and then clearance completed by Abada. And the referee spots the flag up on this near side, and that will be a Celtic free kick, and it will remain 1-0 to the champions. We tick on to the 60-minute mark shortly.
I'm not sure if Dessers is off very early in that move and it's just been played out, but when it came back to Matondo in the first sort of ricochet, I thought he should have just unleashed one. He takes a touch and eventually gets a good shot away on Joe Hart. But going back to the Kyogo, his run is absolutely superb. He's running in a diagonal motion, being slipped in. I think Rangers fans are delighted he turns back, Pat, because he's in and goal. He's got a big look at it, and Jack Buckland, and I thought he was going to just fire one straight at him, but he turned back and allowed a little bit of pressure, I think, made him just lift that one over the bar.
We'll get news of a Rangers change in just a moment. Here's Raskan though for the hosts. Finds Matondo, he's shot to the ground by McGregor. Free kick to Rangers, and this is about 25 yards from goal. Slightly left to centre, only just perhaps though. Let's go to Martin Dowden, who's our pitch side reporter today. Movement on the Rangers bench, right enough.
Yes, Michael Beale's been in discussions for quite some time, since half time. It will be Sam Lammers and Danilo coming on. Not clear at the moment who's coming off. They've been making that change for quite a few minutes now. A lot of conversations going on, but yeah, those two coming on. Not sure who's coming off at this point.
You would imagine Dessers would be the one, unless Roof isn't ready to complete the 90 minutes. Anyway, Rangers have a free kick. It's still a fair way from goal. Neil, James Tavernier standing over it.
Yeah, but he's got a catalogue of these types of strikes, and I remember him scoring one at Celtic Park.
Yeah,
just
about the same distance.
Yeah, a very similar position. It's quite central, which gives him the opportunity to go right and left. Joe Hart then has to stand right in the middle.
Yeah, he hit the bar, the underside of the bar, on its way in last season.
I think it's a waste of a guy lying down behind the wall.
I agree.
I've never seen Tavernier hit a low one yet.
I agree.
Here's Tavernier then, right footed, going for that top corner. He's put it wide though, as he slaps the fresh air in frustration here on a sunny day, blue skies above at Ibrox. Rangers will make that double change shortly. Not quite ready to do so, albeit Lammers and Danilo are on the touchline waiting to come on as Turnbull goes down. No free kick. Raskan has it, rolls it to his left for Jack. Rangers looking for this equaliser. To the left of the box, it's Raskan onto his right hand side, turns it back down the line for Jack. Rangers fans want this in the box. Suter obliges to the right hand side of it for Cantwell, volleys it back towards the 18-yard line, and it's cleared by Turnbull. And then it comes off the head of Taylor and break Cantwell's way for Tavernier, right hand side of the area, bouncing ball, awkward for him, comes off Maida and out for a Rangers corner. On this near side, Celtic leading 1-0, but Rangers cranking up the pressure here.
Yeah, they are. They're really starting to gain control of the match. The two subs waiting to come on, Lammers and Danilo, but I don't think it'll be done before this is taken. I'd be surprised if it is.
Just they've got the wind behind them at the moment, so Michael Beale is refraining from making the changes while they do have this pressure as they attack the goal to the right. Loads of movement in the box. In comes the corner. It's poor from Tavernier. Headed away. Breaks to Sterling out to Tavernier, wide on the right hand side, chip ball into the area and comes off Scales, back to Sterling across the face of goal. Nobody's there.
Offside.
The flag's up anyway, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1, almost on 63.
Yeah,
now the changes will be made.
They will be made. Just
sorry, Packy, we'll just get these out the road first. Matondo is going to be replaced by Lammers, and it'll be one from Roof or Dessers. You would imagine he'll be replaced by Danilo, the big summer signing from Feyenoord. Celtic have Alistair Johnston down, he's requiring treatment inside his box, so it will be Matondo off, Lammers on, and the other change for Rangers will be made. The fourth official down there, Stephen McLean, has the board, and Danilo will come on for Rangers in just a moment as the number goes up, and it's Kemar Roof who will be replaced. And wow, listen to that.
Listen to that crowd. They are not happy with that.
Well, they want Dessers hook, that's what that's all about.
Yeah, I mean, that's not... listen, it's not great to hear that, but I tell you who it's not great for, Dessers, because he's already feeling the pressure, I think. But I don't think Kemar Roof was having a poor game. He was good in the first half.
He was doing a role too now. He was asked to do a different role in the second half.
Triple change for Rangers. Sorry, Reid van Yilmaz is going to come on as well for Sterling. And Martin, Celtic going to roll the dice as well.
Yes, so it looks like a triple change for Celtic. Also, Yang just getting some instructions from Gavin Strachan. Anthony Ralston has made his way to the touchline as well. And it will also be Odin Holm, who's just getting his final instructions as well. Again, not clear exactly who's coming. I'd imagine it's Alistair Johnston making way, at least one of those, but we'll see in a second.
Yeah, and that, if Alistair Johnston does come on, that's a body blow, because he's come back into the team.
I think he looks like he's waiting to come back on, doesn't he? But he does.
Well, they're not risking him. They're not going to risk him. You can't do that when there's... I know it's an international break coming up, but you want Alistair Johnston available for
big games,
Champions League games as well as the domestic
matches.
Listen,
Anthony Ralston will come in and he'll do a job.
Abada.
Johnson is pivotal. Abada off,
Yeah, Maida will probably go to the outside right, won't he? And Yang will come to the left, I would imagine.
Yeah,
and that's what they did last week, wasn't it? Because Yang started against St Johnstone last Saturday.
Home will maybe come on for Turnbull here.
Yeah, all obvious maybe choices, you know. Obviously home is a big game for him. Again, the physicality of home would be a question mark just yet. He's a developing player. But what I was going to say, there was a conflab between Joe Hart, Lagerbielke, McGregor and Scales to see how they're going to actually play out now that McGregor has been kind of half nullified. And if you look at Lagerbielke, he's getting the ball and he's trying little balls almost in the turnbull, and then
trying to coax him in there, Rangers.
And he's giving the ball away unnecessarily. You know, get the ball to the wide guys, maybe a little bit, play beyond them a little bit, take that sort of risk out of it for a little bit of time, and take the pressure off them.
So Odin Holm has come on for Turnbull. It's the final Celtic change there. So once all that's done, Rangers continue. Here's Cantwell for Lammers. He's bounced off him though. Cantwell picks up the scraps. Out to the left-hand side for Yilmaz. He flicks over the outside of the right boot. Yilmaz with the left foot into the box. It comes towards Danilo and then boot it behind for the corner by Lagerbielke. 66 played. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. And I suppose one thing Cyril Dessers could do to win over the Rangers fans is score a goal against Celtic. He's lurking inside the 6-yard box. Tavernier in swinging corner coming up here. Very deep. Goldson's going to attack it. Heads for goal. It's onto the roof of the net though, over the bar, and it stays 1-0 to the champions as we head towards the final quarter of this first derby between these two this season.
It's not, I mean, a clear-cut chance, but it's a good chance. It's a free header. All he has to do is get it back across the goal there. I mean, it's a really poor execution from Connor Goldson. But Yilmaz coming on, you can see already one cross into the box. It's so natural for him that if Celtic do narrow up and they do get it to the wide areas, they've got Tavernier and Yilmaz in advanced positions, and they've got good opportunities to cross with a natural foot, left and right.
Goldson. Again, the Rangers fans want this ball played forward. Goldson does eventually towards Danilo in behind the defence, but he can't get a touch onto it. He's kept it in play at the byline though. Danilo rolls it back towards Jack, can't find him though. It's picked up here for Celtic by Yang, who runs into trouble in the shape of Raskan, but they've managed to get away with it, and Celtic have it with Taylor on this left hand side. Up the line for Maida. Maida infield to Kyogo. Now he's found Holm. Holm's got Maida to his left, uses him as a decoy, he shoots, and Butland saves down low to his left, holds on to it from Odin Holm, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1, 67 and a half played.
Yeah, it was a good effort, good save. It wasn't quite in the corner, was it? It gave the goalkeeper an opportunity, got down really well and held on to it with both hands, down low to his left-hand side, but it was an opportunity for Holm coming in of this left-hand side, space opening up, and he took it on. And he's only on the pitch, so good start for him.
Kyogo Furahashi's third goal of the season in first half stoppage time as Celtic leading here at Ibrox. Rangers in possession with Danilo down the left for Yilmaz, down by the corner flag, keeps it in play, looks up, left foot ball to the edge of the area, is going to be headed away by Maida. Now Raskan for Jack. Jack out to Ridvan Yilmaz again, left-hand side, left-footed ball, way too close to Joe Hart, who holds on at his near post.
Yeah, back post. James Tavernier had gone right in towards the back post and needed a deep cross. They're getting plenty of bodies in the box, so Rangers with Lammers there going on, Dessers, Danilo, Tavernier round the back. Yilmaz needs to produce better quality than that.
Celtic with the lead.
My goodness.
That's a dreadful ball by Lagerbilka. Straight to Jack, who heads forward to Danilo, and then Scales heads it away. It's only partially away though. Dessers to the edge of the area, and there's a shot which is almost passed towards the bottom corner by Danilo, which flashes wide of the right-hand post. Yeah, and it stays on 69, 1-0 to the champions.
Sorry, Liam, it was so nonchalant by Danilo. It was almost, you said, it was just a side foot pass towards the far corner, but it's self-inflicted by Celtic. A quite incredible attempt at a pass by Lagerbilka, just to try and clip it there.
They keep continuing to play the ball to Lagerbilka from the short goal kicks, and they're putting themselves under so much pressure.
Connor Goldson for Rangers against Celtic, giving it away from defence. Out to Cantwell on this near side, rolls it back to Goldson. Goldson back to Cantwell on the right hand side of the Celtic box, taking on Taylor, low ball into the area, Scales with a challenge, Rangers trying to pick up the scraps, which they do through Tavernier, pulls it back and it's cleared on the 6-yard line by O'Reilly. Taylor can't control, Goldson looking for Cantwell, he can't find them though, and Taylor's fouled by Tavernier. Was he? No, the play goes on, and comes the cross to the back post, and it's headed behind Celtic, the Rangers corner.
All over the place here. I mean, it looks so desperate, but so many times.
Neil.
Yeah, there's so many times that they could clear up the pitch. I'm looking at Brendan Rodgers, his hands are stretched out as if, what are you doing? And Rangers just set up to just press and harry and just rob them of the ball, but so far they've done nothing really of note to do any damage to Joe Hart in the Celtic goal.
Well, he's just summoned Alexandre Bernabei to the bench as Brendan Rodgers. Rangers corners, they look to find an equaliser, 20 to play, and it comes headed away over the crossbar though by Danilo.
But if Celtic survive this, then it'll be one of those days where they're saying, wow, we're lucky to get away with this, because again now it's a goal kick. Lagerbilka is almost on the byline. That's better. Get them up the pitch, take the pressure off for a little bit of time. You don't have to always play out and then create the problem for yourself. I know he doesn't have a lot of targets high up the pitch, but at least now they can get up and get into the Rangers half a little bit.
Tavernier's header forward, cut out by Scales, and out it goes for a throw-in on this near side to Rangers.
Well, they've got 3 brand new signings from this season up top now, and this is a big, heavy fixture. There's a lot of pressure on Rangers to get back into the game here. These guys need to come up trumps.
Long ball forward towards Danilo. Lagerbilka heads away. It's going to be picked up by Jack here though. Ridvan Yilmaz trying to get up there and support Jack. Shoots, and it's blocked from behind for another Rangers corner.
Yeah, I'm watching Lammers. Lammers won't slip there by Ryan Jack. He decides to take it onto his left. He had Yilmaz on the overlap as well. Celtic getting bodies back quickly. But again, it's that direct route that's caused Celtic most problems.
Corner from that far side. Cantwell's going to take this one, change and taker, right-footed, and it comes too high for Goldson. Rangers have a man down. Dessers inside the box. No penalty. Yang has it nicked off him by Tavernier, who floats the cross ball in. Danilo attacks it, and then it bobbles between he and Lagerbilka, and behind for another Rangers corner.
Celtic on the ropes here. They just need to see this period out. They're trying to make a sub. Bernabei coming on for Taylor, you would imagine. The Rangers must capitalise. They can't let Celtic off the hook here.
Cantwell's corner, and it comes up into the air. The header from Scales did so well. Shooter can't get enough on it to force it back into the box. Skips off his head, and Maida's on the charge. Cantwell's challenge. It's a good challenge. Well, no, free kick's been given. In fact, Todd Cantwell's going to be yellow carded.
Yeah,
foul on Maida.
It's difficult to see it from here. Did he catch him or did he catch the ball?
It's not complaining, put it that way.
Yeah, just watching on it. No, he's caught. He missed the ball as well. Definitely.
Clear foul, clear yellow card.
Good refereeing.
Martin Dowden, change for Celtic.
Yes, it will be Greg Taylor coming off the pitch as Celtic, as you've been describing, trying weather this Rangers storm, and Alejandro Bernabai, well, come on, he was getting a right talking to by Harry Kewell just before he left the bench there, clearly giving him a host of instructions as Celtic try and weather this.
Well, that's the two fullbacks obviously gone, starting fullbacks for Celtic, and that's a big change.
Well, Johnston's injured, but Taylor isn't. Packy, talk us through it.
No, he did. I think he got an injury down here, just down here on the left.
So another
side.
Precautionary change.
Yeah.
Then. Okay. Here's Raskan for Rangers. He's not get back to his keeper. Kyogo might get there though, and Putman has to panically put it out for a throw-in on this near side.
I tell you, he maybe did look as if he panicked, but he took a good decision to kick it sideways there, because he tries to smash that up the park. It's right off of Kyogo, but he was so short.
Well, Rangers have got a free kick off the resultant throw-in anyway. And there will be another couple of changes coming from Michael Beale in a moment in his final two. At the same time, 16 minutes left, 1-0 Celtic, long ball forward. Scales trying to look after it down the near side under pressure from Dessers. He puts it out for a Rangers throw-in. Dessers takes it quickly. Cantwell though can't control it. Maida's there, and now it's with Holm. Deep inside his own half, he goes back to his goalkeeper. Rangers haven't lost a competitive game here at Ibrox since Ajax beat them in their final Champions League game last November. And as I said, they haven't failed to score in a domestic home game since Hamilton Accies beat them 1-0 3.5 years ago at Ibrox, which for a long time was their only defeat. As Lammers picks up. Here is Raskan, clip ball into the box. Lammers is in! And he goes round the keeper and shoots into the side net, and an opportunity missed for Rangers and for Sam Lammers to square this derby. It stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
My goodness, what a chance, what a pass from Nico Raskin, and it's a lovely take by Lammers as he goes round the keeper. He just has to knock it into the empty net, and it just falls on his right side. He's never looking balanced, and to be fair, maybe there's defending players of Celtic coming back onto the line, but he should still hit the target there.
Yeah. Let's get Martin just to quickly confirm the subs, Packy, then I'll get back to you.
It will be Abdullah Sima coming on as Rangers look to throw this kitchen sink at this. Also coming on is Tom, Lawrence, Ryan, Jack and Dessers making way. Celtic also about to make a change. It will be coming onto the pitch. Didn't quite catch who was coming off there, but yeah, being introduced by Brendan Rodgers, maybe to give a bit more muscle up front.
Yeah, it's Kyogo who's coming off.
Yeah, well, no, I think what he's coming onto the pitch for is that they can go direct, they can go higher up the pitch. What they're doing at the moment is this is totally self-inflicted, I think, from Celtic. Yes, Rangers have pressed them high now, but they're still playing out in their own box and are giving the ball away. Even in that instance, last instance, Bernaby, he jogged back to the ball. Get to the ball quickly. Deal with it.
First involvement, finds Holm, who's found Maida. Good first touch now, driving down the left-hand side, dies in Maida. Celtic looking to kill this off. It's a really poor ball in by Maida. It goes out for a throw-in on the reverse side. Rangers 0, Celtic 1, 76.5 on the clock.
Yeah, and that was an instance, on the pitch right away, and the ball's played up to him, 2 passes up to him, played in for Maeda. It was a poor final ball from Maeda, I've got to say, very, very poor. But at least now they might have a target to go and hit and get this pressure off them. Because this building up at the back is not working for them.
Brendan Rodgers looking to continue this superb best winning percentage of any manager who's taken charge of this fixture. Stephen Gerrard actually is the next best winning percentage, 8 wins in his 13. Martin O'Neill next, 16 and 27. Before it's Bill Struth's turn as Celtic moves out in the near side. There's Sima, coming jersey pulled by Scales. That'll be a free kick to Rangers on this near side, and a yellow card for the Irishman.
But he did well, actually, because he was under pressure. You know, I know there was a foul and that, but at least it stopped the advance of Rangers. And he had to take the foul, and he's got a yellow card, unfortunately, for himself. But Wow.
The big switch from Cantwell doesn't find Yilmaz, and it goes behind for a Celtic goal kick. Celtic are 12.5 minutes plus stoppage time away from a monumental victory already in this 23-24 Premiership season. The team news will be dropping for the matches at Pittodrie and Tynecastle. bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. You'll get that in the next sort of 8 or 9 minutes or so.
It's been
getting news from Aberdeen, Hibs and Hearts Motherwell. Neil.
Sorry, Liam, it's been an incredible amount of turnovers from Celtic today, and Rangers, but you know, Celtic in particular, who are normally so comfortable in possession and assured, they look just a little bit rattled.
You can tell that neither of these teams is at it yet.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, but in the second half particularly, Neil, you know, when they haven't been sure of what they're doing. And I just seen Brendan Rodgers out there telling Joe Hart to play it long 2-0.
Celtic have it, right hand side, lovely play. Yang skips away from one to the edge of the box with his countryman. Oh, strong challenge.
Exposed here, Celtic.
It's Rangers now, long ball, but it's a poor one. Danilo, he's trying to find Sima, and it comes all the way through to Joe Hart, who can gather unchallenged at the edge of his box. Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
Some of the decisions that we've seen from both sides today in possession of the football has been so poor.
Yeah, and Yang had the ball there, just drove it. He took 6 of Celtic players out who were ahead of him, and almost created a counter-attack for Rangers, only for a bad pass.
Good game to win this one, Packy.
Yeah, brilliant game for Celtic if they won it. If they hang on here after being on the cosh in the second half, it would be a remarkable result, actually, a brilliant result for them.
Anthony Ralston under pressure from Lammers and goes out for a Celtic throw-in level with the edge of the centre circle. And it's inside the Celtic half.
But it also shows up maybe the deficiency in Rangers at the moment, because I can't remember Joe Hart making a real big save, has he?
No, I don't. Nothing.
He beat one away. He beat one away early.
Beat the one away
straight at him.
Yeah, Matondo. Yeah.
Jack Butland, long ball forward up towards Danilo. Ralston's challenge. It's actually going to break kindly here for Lagerbilka, who clears down the right hand side. Yilmaz with the cushion header into the midfield. What
a challenge that is.
Yeah.
I mean, O's just cemented Tom Lawrence.
He might have injured himself, has he?
They're both back up, they're okay. Rangers have it. Here's Cantwell. Cantwell driving forward. Maida's challenge. Todd Cantwell still has it in the centre circle. He's managed to usher it out to Sam Lammers. Final 10 of the 90 here at Ibrox. Rangers looking for an equaliser. Low
Good
ball.
pass,
Yilmaz to Cantwell. Back to Lammers. Couldn't return it to Cantwell. It's cut out, and Ralston takes it out of his box on the right hand side and clears out for a Rangers throw-in.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Rangers also. If they pick their head up, they're outnumbering Celtic at the back post, especially down Tavernier's side. He's getting into great positions.
Big switch of play out to this near side. Celtic get it clear. It's out for a Rangers throw-in. This is level with the Celtic 18, short to Sima from Tavernier. Back to Tavernier up against Bernabei. Rolls it in. Another loose one. No, many of them have there been today for both teams. Here's Odin Holm coming forward, finding Bernabei. He's got Oh Hyun Joo. He can find him here infield. He's found O's got support, and he tries to flick it to Yang, but he flicks it straight to Butland. And it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Decision making in the final third from both teams has been pretty poor at times.
On the right side.
Long ball, Rangers on the counter to Cantwell, right hand side of the Celtic box. Maida's challenge just inside the area. Howells for a penalty. It's not coming. And on 81.5 it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
I didn't think it was a penalty. I know Cantwell takes it.
He's got a sore injury too, by the way.
He's had a little swing, but he's blocked him. He has blocked him now. I mean, I don't think Maida can move there. I think he's well within his rights to get that side of him. Cantwell maybe rocked his ankle in the process, but again, Maeda's work rate there, because Bernabei is gone. He's gone up the pitch, posted missing, and Maeda's work rate has got Celtic out of jail.
Yeah, he's used his body really well. Just going back to this chance with it was poor execution right on the final pass. And looking at the pictures of Brendan Rodgers, really, really frustrated, because that could have killed the game off. But you're right about Maeda getting back, and he was probably had to make up about 5 or 6 yards on him. You know, really, really good, and use his body. It wasn't a penalty, I don't think.
Well, Rangers have made all 5 subs, so this is a concern for Michael Beale right now. There's still going to be, you would think, another 15 minutes of football left to be played here.
I mean, the noise in here at times is just absolutely deafening. And you say, we're talking about the turnovers of Celtic and Rangers and decision making in the final third. It's been a wee while since I've seen strikers like Dessers, guys passing up opportunities to strike at goal. I mean, it's quite incredible. Rangers and Michael Beale, as you rightly said there, Liam, making all substitutions. We're really hoping that Todd Cantwell gets to his feet here and is able to continue.
He's getting back to his feet now, helped by the medical team. So yeah, we've got commentary from Pittodrie to come at 3 o'clock. That's Aberdeen Hibernian. We also have regular updates from Tynecastle's Hearts play Motherwell. On Friday, it's Cyprus, Scotland. Scotland looking to maintain their 100% start to that qualifying group. 5th game, looking for a 5th win. And that would put them on the cusp of the finals in Germany next summer. They'll then follow it up with a friendly against England, and incredibly they could qualify that night, even though that's a friendly, depending on what happens between Norway and Georgia and the other game, one of the other games in the group we play that night.
And I'm looking at Todd Cantwell down that side. He's struggling. The doc's checking his knee here. He did wave when he went down, and it's not always a great sign, but he's getting back to his feet here. Hopefully, just a bit of reassurance from medical staff that he's okay.
Goldson clipping it forward, looking for Danilo. It's over the head of Scales. Brilliant first touch. Danilo shoots straight at Hart. Really good goalkeeping by Joe Hart. Made himself big, read the situation, and denies Danilo. 6 to play in the 90. It remains 1-0 Celtic as Abdallah Sima comes charging down the right. Low ball in. Danilo catches it. It's saved by Hart with the left foot this time.
The first save.
Magnificent goalkeeping, not once but twice by the former England international.
Yeah, Liam, the first save is, I mean, it's just a proper big, brave save, all body. But what a beautiful touch Danilo takes as well inside Scales. And you think he's just going to roll it into the net, and Joe Hart sprains himself. Then it's his second effort, a more scuffed one towards the low near post, and again Joe Hart's match to it.
We've managed to find Yilmaz wide on the left. Cantwell's come back on, so it's 11 against 11 again. Here's Yilmaz showing too much of it to Ralston, who turns and passes it out to the right for Yang, and then to Ralston, to Yang, and then infield for O'Reilly, who goes long with the right foot. Suter holding off. Rogers, the Celtic boss, feels that was a foul on his striker.
I think it was a foul, actually. He was pulling his jersey, but going back to the save, all that experience, he knew that he had to cut down the space, and he got out with a big chest, and then of course the reaction with his foot also, and we did see he had much to do. Now he's been called in and he's come up with the big ones.
Lawrence out to Tavernier wide on the right, to Cantwell, back to Rascan. We're in the final 5 minutes of the 90. 1-0 Celtic. Cantwell plays it off Maida, out for a Rangers throw-in on this near side. It's a huge week for Michael Beale, this one out of the Champions League though, and staring at defeat in their first game against Celtic this season. That's it. Ode as well to draw the foul from Lawrence and takes the pressure off his defence. And now the guys will have a chance to watch Joe Hart saves again.
Yeah, and you know, Liam Scales this time allowed Danilo to get in behind him, but
he's
Joe Hart
7 yards out. Joe Hart there.
He did. He read it really, really well. And even that reaction of his foot, but he read it really well because he knew that he had to cut down the space, and he got out early. Oh, he's in.
Tavernier, it's not a great header back. Maida was almost onto it. Butland blocks.
Very similar to Joe Hart. Butland out really, really quick, out to about 10 yards there, and right in the face of Maida, because that was really short from James Tavernier.
Another Celtic goal, it's all over. There's Yang down the right, midway inside the Rangers half. Decides to roll it back to Lagerbilka on his halfway line, to his goalkeeper. Hart at the edge of his box, short to Lagerbilka, and he's giving it straight to Danilo. Danilo has it, left-hand side, left angle of the box. Danilo passes it to Cantwell. Cantwell under pressure from Holm, rolls it to Lammers. Tavernier was in the overlap, it goes back to Cantwell though. Cantwell flicks it forward, Danilo trying to get onto it, back to the goalkeeper it goes though, of Lagerbilka, and Hart clears.
Oh, I'll tell you what, risk is going to be part of the game for Celtic this season, there's no question. And yeah, I think it's easier out in the pitch, isn't it, Neil?
Yeah, but my goodness, they're giving Rangers some opportunities here.
Yilmaz on the left-hand side, it's a low ball across, clear by Lagerbilka, out for a throw into Rangers, level with the Celtic penalty spot. Govan stands side, short to Lawrence. leaves it for Yilmaz, crosses in, Lammers with a header, well wide, and it will stay. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. As much as they try to breach Celtic, it's just not happening so far for Rangers.
No, it's not happening. That he got up well. He's almost didn't connect properly with that head of his. He's a tall lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big lad. That was a better cross from Yilmaz that time. Tom Morris out on the left side just set him up, and he does find a Rangers jersey. There's 2 or 3 hitting the same area though.
Rangers haven't lost a domestic game here since the 3rd of April 2022. Celtic coming from behind to win 2-1 on that occasion. 2 minutes left of the 90. Ralston under pressure from Danilo down that far side. Ralston goes back to Hart. Clears first time with the right foot. Bouncing ball's awkward for O to control, so it proved, but actually it's broken on in Holmes' way. Right footed out to the far side. Yang chasing. Keeps it in play up against Yilmaz. Skips in field. Back out onto the right. Back onto the left. Back onto the right goes Yang. And then is he tripped in the box? No, says the ref. Rangers will clear. Yang is appealing for a foul against him. He thinks that's a penalty as it's cleared by Rangers.
He just overdid it, didn't he? You know, he had an opportunity to get the ball in, and he stepped over 2 or 3 times, and yeah.
Well, there's O'Reilly over on the far side, and that thing's just gone over. It has. Throw into Rangers on the far side. So that's minute 90 at Ibrox, and we will find out what Stephen McLean's board says shortly with regards to stoppage time. I think there'll be plenty of it, not so much because of VAR in the second half, but a big intervention in the first, and Kemar Roof's goal was ruled out for a foul by Dessers on Lagerbielke, but because of all the subs, been a couple of injury stoppages as well, as Sima wins it off Bernabei down the right goes Sima. It's the low ball in, but it's going to be easy for Scales, who can not just clear but pass to Bernabei, and it's played up the line for Maida, who's challenged by Tavernier, and out for a throw into Rangers on this near to Celtic on this near side.
Yeah, Celtic can take the heat out of it now. They don't have to rush. Obviously, a couple of minutes left. Just nearly almost the 90 minutes are up. There will be extra time, and no doubt about it. But
little flick by O, headed forward by Tavernier. 7 minutes added, so we're into the first of 7 minutes of stoppage time. Celtic 7 minutes away from a ginormous 3 points, even after just 4 match days of this season's Premiership campaign. To come here to this cauldron of noise and everything that goes with it, because I mean, this is as hostile as it gets for these Celtic players. This will be some result for them.
Yeah, and the goal before half-time was critical, but the first half I thought they were in control. They were doing okay. They were, of course, there's going to be times in that game where you would expect Rangers to have a little bit of control, but overall I think it was almost 50-50. But in the second half they almost invited Rangers to put themselves under severe pressure, but they've got away with it so far.
Cantwell did well to win it back, and then Scales just brilliantly to slide in. Masima looking to get behind him. Scales with the challenge. He's been excellent today.
Scales has been good, yeah. Liam. He really has.
Here's Tavernier at the edge of the Celtic box, blocked by O'Reilly. O'Reilly comes away with it, flipping it forward down the left-hand side, but won't be able to keep it in play. It stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1 here.
Scales is taking big deep breaths and big swallows because he looks absolutely empty. But he did ever so well on Sima, because Sima did not look favourite and he started eating up the ground.
It's been a real statement for Scales as Lawrence comes forward for Rangers. Little header by McGregor, and Callum McGregor's fouled, and that just eats away a few more seconds for the champions.
Yeah, absolutely, and just Maeda too has worked really, really hard, as you say, and he's kind of...
Look at Scales, Pat, look. Yeah. He's down in all fours here. Yeah. I mean, he is gasping for air.
Listen, what a build-up for him all week too. You know, coming into a Rangers game, that energy would have been gone. You know, he would have been excited, and to get out of this one today. And you're right. I think he's been out of the 2 centre halves. He's been the one that you would pick out.
He's been the best centre back today. I mean,
and I'm delighted for him, because he had a tough time last week. Incredibly getting on to him because of the way, the nature of the game.
Here for Celtic, given away by Holm though, now picked up by Sima on the right hand side. Have Rangers got an equaliser in them? At the moment Celtic are heading to the top. They'd be 4 clear of Rangers as well. too clear at the top ahead of Motherwell's visit to Tynecastle. Here's Tavernier, right-footed, low ball to the left for Yilmaz. Yilmaz knocks it into his stride and cuts in field. Rangers looking for an equaliser in injury time. When it comes, he's found Cantwell in the box. He takes a touch and shoots, but it's a comfortable save for Hart. Todd Cantwell's holding his head in his hands. We've played almost 3 minutes of the 7 that were added, and it would remain here Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Todd Cantwell spurning the opportunity.
Yeah, really good chance for him. Joe Hart's positioned himself well, but it was a good pick out from Yilmaz. But Todd Cantwell just needs to just hit it across him towards that far post area. Joe Hart had come across the goal to narrow the angle, catches it with his shin, and the chance is gone. But I mean, the clock is ticking here. This place will erupt in a very different way than Michael Beale would have liked if Celtic are to hang on here.
That's 2 massive defeats, isn't it, in the space of a few days?
Yeah.
Hammering in Eindhoven, followed by Derby defeat to Celtic. As Cantwell picks up, knocks it into Lawrence, out to Sima, looking for salvation here. Rangers, Sima's cross, cut out by Bernabei, who then knocks it off Lawrence and out for a Celtic throw, and that will do the champions very nicely indeed. The clock ticks further down away from Rangers.
Yeah, they can take their time, and if they can work it out from this corner, they're deep in their own half down in the left-hand side.
Bernabei's throw. Raskan heads forward. Tavernier helps it on its way. Cantwell then flicked clear by O'Reilly. Here's Maida on the turn, goes down, fouled by Goldson. That's going to be a free kick to Celtic down on this near side. There have been 4 minutes of the 7 played. Celtic in no hurry.
Yeah, it'll be an unbelievable result for Celtic when you think about it. You know, I was saying that they would be delighted with a draw today, but to come out with a victory would be incredible.
Yeah, they got a chance for a second here. Maida pulls the ball across, almost Yang at the back post. Doesn't get anything onto it. The game's still alive, it only just. It was nearly finished there.
I tell you, young Holmes come into the game and he's actually looked really good. Assured in possession, inventive, seen little threaded passes.
Well, this place is a cauldron of frustration right now. As Cantwell picks up, getting it from Raskan on the near side. Cantwell forward to Lammers. Lammers gets the break of the ball, the edge of the box, shoots off Danilo's face.
Yeah, just as well it did, it was going well wide.
Here's Lammers, keeping it alive, right hand side. Sima, delicate ball in, Cantwell heads well wide, and it stays. Rangers 0, Celtic 1 here. And there's only 2 minutes left.
Yeah, actually a good ball from Cantwell into Lammers. He takes a nice touch, but he's never set. He tries to shape out his left foot, hit Danilo, and that actually kept the attack alive for Rangers, but they've looked at times a wee bit desperate. Michael Beale's, you know, he's shuffled the pack, he's brought on 5 subs, a lot of the new guys, and they just haven't been able to really carve Celtic open too many times. That chance with a long ball over the top for Danilo with a great save from Joe Hart, but other than that, I mean, Celtic have been all hands to the pump.
And a good defensive performance by Celtic, in particular Scales. Lagerbilk has obviously had his shaky moments. They've had to change both fullbacks, but they've been able to keep Rangers at arm's length by and large. Joe Hart making those big saves in the second half. It really was so crucial, as he denied Danilo a couple of times. And he's in no hurry to take a Celtic free kick over on that far side. We're in the final minute of the stoppage time that was added on by Don Robertson. How's the ref handled the game, Neil?
I think the ref's done okay. I mean, it's been a more of an aggressive contest than games gone by. I believe it's been, because it's been scrapping, it's brought challenges, and I think Don Robertson has refereed it okay.
Celtic have it in Rangers territory, level with the Rangers 18. Free kick there, and that's going to go Tom Lawrence's way as Callum McGregor boots the ball off Lawrence to antagonise the Rangers support some more. Last chance saloon time for Rangers. Jack Butland with a long free kick coming forward here into the Celtic half. There's just over 10 seconds left. Here's Cantwell. Cantwell on this right hand side, no real support. And it's a brilliant challenge by Odin Holm, who Neil rightly highlighted. I make that time up, so does the ref. And the Rangers fans tell Michael Beale and his players what they make of this result. But what a result this is for Brendan Rodgers and for Celtic. The champions have come to Ibrox with no supporters, and they are leaving with 3 huge points even after just 4 match days of the 23-24 Premiership season. Brendan Rodgers, who's a better winning percentage than any manager that's taken charge of this fixture, wins again here in Govan. And he is very happy down there, teeth clenched as he high-fives his coaching staff. Kyogo Furahashi's goal in first half stoppage time was enough to win it for them today. They had other opportunities to score, as did Rangers, who thought they had scored through Kemar Roof in the first half, just before the half-hour point, when he rifled home. But it was brought back by VAR and ruled out by Don Robertson upon his on-field review for a foul by Dessers on Lagerbilke. But Celtic have come to Ibrox, they've kept a clean sheet, and they have won. And they go top of the Premiership ahead of the first international break of the season with the win here. And the Rangers fans are irate. It's been a horrible week for them, knocked out of the Champions League at the playoff stage by PSV Eindhoven. And they have been beaten at home domestically for the first time since April 2022, for the first time all told since last November when Ajax beat them in the Champions League, and they have failed to score a goal in a domestic match here for the first time in 3.5 years, when Hamilton Accies beat them 1-0 just before the first lockdown because of the coronavirus. It's not been a good week for Michael Beale. It's been an excellent day for Brendan Rodgers and his champions. It finishes here at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 1.